Which way is the border?
Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami Fort Lauderdale presents The Neil Rogers Show. To talk to Neil, call 567-0560 toll free for Dade and Broward, or pound 560 on your cell phone. The opinions of Neil, his guests, callers, or anyone else on the show do not necessarily reflect those of WQAM, Beasley Reed Acquisition, or the Beasley Broadcast Group. Now, Neil Rogers on Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Esa es la cingada manera cubana.
We'd like to show you, the new Gentle Ben thermometer from UA with its gay bar tested technology. Gentle Ben is an effective, very pleasing thermometer. Never again will you need or want to stick a thermometer in your mouth or under your arm, because the Gentle Ben is so fun to use. There's never been anything like it. It's fast, accurate, and there when you want it. My temperature still hasn't gone down.
New Gentle Ben thermometer from UA with special patented don't ask, don't tell insertion tabs. Maybe your husband would like one.
Or maybe not. 10:02 at 560 WQM. So anyway, which way is up and which way is down? Everybody in this audience who wears glasses, boy, this is who is that? Who are those people in there? I can't even see who the hell it is. See? And you know something? I must be living right. I'll tell you one thing. Thank you.
God.
I must be doing a lot of things right.
Oh! Well, look, it's all the contestants.
You know how I know that
Miami model search.
The nose was glowing like Rudolph. But at any rate, so I must be living right, because I'm sitting here this morning, and of course when you're getting to go on vacation tomorrow, like many of us are, this is the perfect time for it to happen. And I take my glasses off, as luck would have it, and I'm like cleaning them off, and the lens pops out right on the counter here. The lens pops out, and there's that damn little screw in there. Everybody that wears glasses, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Pain in the ass. And no, I'm not getting contacts. I've tried that once. That's even a bigger pain in the ass. They get schmutzy, and they move around, and they fall out, and your eyes get watery, and they get blurry, and then you're walking around like, which way is up, and it's that stuff. Forget it. Not for me. But at any rate, I mean, glasses I've worn since I was 13 years old, so that's about 80 years. I'm used to them. But it's just a general pain in the ass when, and so I, you know, and Peter Leonard in our sales department, God bless you, Peter, and where the hell are you, by the way? So he happens to have one of those little kits with a little tiny screwdriver and the spare screws and all that, the eyeglass kit, because he wears glasses. So he comes rushing up here with the thing, and I get the little screwdriver out, and which I've had plenty of practice screwing it, and this thing too. And, you know how you do it. You screw the screw partway in there, you pop your lens in, then you tighten it up. Well, the problem is that the frames, it's stripped. It's stripped. We have an eyeglass emergency. I'm going on vacation, and here I've got eyeglasses that are like stripped. A lot of things that people like to have stripped, but not their eyeglass frames. So in other words, the screw won't stay in there. So now we got to find a place, and George is frantically calling all around. So sometime between now and within the next hour at the latest, we got to find a joint around here. Did that place ever call you back, by the way, the one you left a message on that supposedly opens at 10 o'clock? You know, what kind of a business opens at 10 o'clock in the morning? I don't get that. Of course, this is kind of a lazy place down here, you know. Very laid back, the deep south. It's the summertime. It's very hot. It's tropical. It's 100 degrees in the shade. It's pouring down rain every 5 minutes. And as a result, we'll open. It's kind of like the Italian idea, you know, in Italy. We'll open up whenever we feel like it, when we're good and ready. And then we'll go take a nap for a few hours. And when we feel like coming back, we'll let you know. That's how they do business. So maybe we can find somebody in the beginning, because I don't want to burden the whole audience. This isn't very exciting, and I'm sure most of the people in the audience would rather continue. You know, I mean, yeah, I got some more things to say about that, but it's so old and tired, you know. And by the way, I must confess, I can't stop watching Channel 4 News. And happy birthday to Duff Lindsay and Bob Soper today. How do you like that?
Oh!
I would play the thing here, but I'm not I can't see it in it. No, actually, I'm nearsighted, so I can't see all the close stuff, the good stuff. If I get it real close, I can see it. If it's happy birthday, Bob Soper and Duff Lindsay, not necessarily in that order. And I can't stop watching Channel 4 News. I'm at the track last night, and that silly goose Angela Ray, who I think is losing it, she's doing this pole. And she cracked up not once but twice and just lost it. And the second time, it was like 5 minutes before they put her back on camera again. She's losing it. I wonder if she's got a feather in her rectum or something. Huh? Don't get too excited.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Who is that? Oh, it's Duff. Okay. See, he knows I can't see who it is, so he's giving me a big song to dance. I mean, it's, you know, happy birthday. Not that we like you that much, but you're okay. But at any rate, so what was I just saying before he disrupted the whole goddamn thing there? I'm on such a roll here about the Channel 4 and Angela Ray. And, so the poll she's taken, the poll is, and I thought to myself, what a loaded question. No wonder she was laughing. Loaded question. And then when you find out the result, that's the amazing part. The poll was, do you approve of the Coast Guard's handling of the refugee crisis the other day? And I thought, Jesus, that's going to be overwhelmingly,
no.
No. People are going to say no. We had the pepper spray and the all this other. So they had the results on it this morning. 72% said yes, and only 28% said
no.
How do you like that? Because all of the people who would have said yes, would have said
no,
we're watching 23 anyway. Boy, so much more to say about that crap. So are there any people on here that are going to fix my glasses, by the way? Because I don't really care about anything else. Not that I don't want to sound selfish, but that's all I care about right
Peter
now.
called like 10 minutes ago saying that he was on his way up.
What did he do? Did he get lost or something? Did somebody intercept him? Like maybe a sales thing, which God forbid that a salesman should be working on a sales thing, or like stuff like that. This is the number one priority. I mean, I'd hate to have to start ripping him now after he came up here and was such a nice guy, and I said I'd speak nice about him today. Even if he has been consorting with, I mean, see, I don't understand this thing about this business. He's on the phone this morning with Bob Green, and he's talking to David Ross over there at Queer Channel. What is that? Is this like a fraternity or is this a business? I'm not interested in talking to Bob Green or David Ross. Don't take it personal, Bob, unless you want to. But I mean, that's I got nothing to say to you. Have a nice day, Bob. You know that. When I worked there, I had nothing to say to him. Anyway, of course, that's the big story in town is the planet is now history. If we had taps, we don't have taps. We used to. Yeah, we would play it for the planet, WPLL. Was that Ronna that came up with that, one of those geniuses there at Queer Channel?
Let's blame Peter Bolger.
It probably was Peter Bolger. The planet is history. Yeah. And now, 103.5, which used to be the Great She, of course, which was the bedrock, the centerpiece of FM in this market. And then Clear Channel and Paxton, well, first Paxton and Clear Channel butchered it and destroyed it. It was really Paxton that done it. And now it's going to be WMGE, just what we needed. It's going to be 1974 to 81, old light rock, pop, whatever it's going to, who knows what it's going to be. It says among those will be most often will be Gloria Estefan and Casey and the Sunshine Band. Don't take it personal, Casey. You're okay, but who wants to hear your music again? As well as Motown favorites, Culture Club, Kool and the Gang, and Madonna. Oh, man, just what we needed. Another stiff. Well, it was a stiff already. They had like a 1-something in the last trend, and they finally said, well, I don't think that's going to make it. Let's blow it up and do something else. Let's screw it up with some other crappy format. Here's Plantation. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to put in my 2 cents on what happened on the Causeway the other day.
Go right ahead, sir.
I was devastated. I can't believe that a group of people that the best of the best that they send over here that run and get into office, all they do is rip off the country and take our tax dollars and, put it back into whatever country.
And how come there isn't one politician or one media outlet other than a few of us on AM English language radio and FM, a few of us, how come nobody else is saying one thing about, this isn't the way to solve your grievances is to tie up the whole town? Nobody has the guts to say that.
Well, no, it's like we want a bunch more people like this to come over here, and what do? Take over Broward next and start stopping the traffic on 95.
Right.
It's just, I'm sick.
Gridlock, baby. That's what it's all about, gridlock.
Well, that's all I had, Neil.
Okay, thank you, sir. Have a great day. Nobody's calling about my glasses, and the people didn't call you back. You better call those people again. Do you try them? The ones that open at 10 o'clock right around the corner here on Miami Gardens Drive?
I'll keep trying.
I mean,
everybody.
Is this really like a major deal? Because, even if I have to get new frames, it doesn't bother me. I've got the big bucks. I'll spring for new frames. And Peter Leonard, who was on his way up here 20 minutes ago, is turning into be less and less of a good guy every minute now as time goes by here. Comes in this morning, no problem, whatever you want. Just sucking around, licking all over my body parts. I mean, just like a wild man. And I got nothing going on today. I'll be more than happy to take those. I mean, see, time is of the essence here. This is now turning into a time thing. Because if I have to leave here at 2 o'clock with these silly shades that JP gave me, it'll look pretty interesting, but I won't be able to see a goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? Including by Channel 4, by the way.
Neil Rogers God.
They redate Blazing Saddles, but now they've gone too far. Instead of Please on Little, Will Smith is now the star. They decided to call it the Wild Wild West. So good, they would not have to pay. They issue some cattle and won't remember anyway. Robert Conrad was the region west, but now it's a rapid movie. Hollywood wants to be politically correct when churning out these crappy movies.
All right.
They can't get Victor Bono or Michael Dunn for Ross Martin and Kevin Klein instead.
No.
They can't get Charles Davis or Alan Ellis. That's because they're all dead. It's because they're all dead. They call Dr. Love his darling, but his name was Niggly. Thanks for thinking so much of us in assuming we're too dumb to know. In 1868, all the slaves were free and became secret agents, don't you know? Next time you do good, you may at least watch a few of the show.
Boy, the reviews on that movie are just unbelievable. But anyway, so speaking of that, the nephew comes in here this morning, and they just won't stop doing this to me. The QAM van will be at the Amoco gas station at 21005 Biscayne Boulevard in North Miami Beach today from noon to 1, and they'll have lots of QAM goodies, whatever that means, and Wild Wild West movie stuff to give away for the people who stop by. Whatever that means also, I haven't got any idea, but it's free crap. 210th and Biscayne in North Miami Beach, noon to 1 today, the QAM van. Look for it and go help the nephew out and give a bunch, get some free crap. So I guess we're not, this to me, this is the tip-off. This is so typical of the way business is done in this town. We get the yellow pages, which wasn't easy, by the way, finding a current yellow pages in this building. I mean, it's just a radio station. The fact we're in business, don't confuse us. And we finally find a yellow pages, and we're looking under opticians and for a place that might be close by here to get my glasses fixed. And there's a place like right around the corner here on Miami Gardens Drive, like a major part of a chain. And they got a recording. George leaves them a message. They open at 10 o'clock. He's calling them at 9:30. Not only don't they call back, but he's now calling and calling and calling. Are they there yet?
No.
It's only 10:17 in the morning. See, this is the way we do business in this town. Like I said, it's kind of like in Italy. Whenever we get around to opening, maybe we'll open up. Maybe we won't bother opening at all. Maybe we'll just go fishing today. Maybe we'll take off and go demonstrating and block a few streets off. I have no idea. Did they ever get in? Did they ever call back?
No. However,
yes,
lens crafters.
We'll do what?
I called, I've spoken to 4 people already.
Yeah.
And everybody says the same thing. Well, we have to see it. We can't promise anything
well,
yet.
Okay, that's
lens
fine.
crafter said, bring him in. We'll do it right now.
Great. Okay, in the meantime, where is the man? Where is Peter Leonard? Let's get a QAM search party going right now. It is now 10:15. See, I don't want to stay. I'm a little bit nervous about this, but time is of the essence. Lens Crafters, it's a name. We know they can know their stuff. If we got to spring for new frames, no problem at all, as long as they fit the lenses. I don't care. But let's see where this man is who came in here this morning, an hour ago, and talked a big game. Well, he has gone in just an hour from being a really good guy to an invisible guy. 25 minutes ago, he was on the way from the second floor up here to the third floor. Maybe the elevator got stuck. You think so?
No.
Maybe he got lost in the hallway. That could be it. Peter, sometime this month would be good, okay? Let's not make this into a real nip-and-tuck adventure. I'd like to be able to see the other side of the wall sometime before noon would be good. God. Here's a lady mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Neil. My name's Ginger. I just wanted to call and say thank you because you saved my life.
Yeah.
I was in my car, it was about a week ago, and you had done a show a while back where you were talking about waiting at the intersection before you take off.
Right.
Because of these jerks who run the red light.
Right. Don't ever trust them.
No, and usually I do. I just take off, and I have a vet, too, and you go really fast through the intersection. So I stopped at the light, and I turned on my radio to your show, and you were talking, so I was just thinking about what you had said about not taking off.
Right.
So the light changed, and I waited, and the guy next to me took off, and somebody ran the red light and plastered the guy.
Nice.
It was awful.
How do you like that? Don't ever, always assume the worst. I mean, I hate to say that, but when you're driving down here, always assume that they're going to do whatever the worst is. Don't ever trust any of them.
No, it's awful, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, my God, Neil saved my life.
Oh, God bless
me. So I just wanted to say thank you. And also I wanted to say, forget all the politics and everything else with the Cubans in the street. I was stuck in that traffic, and I had to pee so bad
that
I
never thought about that.
I got sick from it. I was sitting in my car for 2 hours.
And you know something? If you would have gotten out and like tried to squat there next to the car,
they would have arrested me.
They would have arrested you for peeing in public. That's right, the PIP, peeing in public police.
Exactly.
Okay, sweetheart.
Exactly.
Have
All
a great
right.
day.
Thank you. You
See
too.
ya. There you go. Yeah, I mean, there's so many different aspects of that whole thing. Why doesn't anybody, like in the newspapers, anybody on television have the balls to say, look, if you want to protest in front of the Coast Guard, you want to go down in front of the INS, not on the streets, but like on a sidewalk, they're all needed. George's got a bag over his head right now because he's so embarrassed with this Cuban thing. You know, fine. Fine, if you do it peaceably and you do it in a place where you're not disrupting the rest of the community and pissing everybody off and disrupting everybody else's life. And I'd like the guy that called here yesterday. I said, what did the people that you were tying up there on a Julia Tuttle and the MacArthur, wherever he was, what did they have to do with your problem? Nothing. Oh, well, isn't that interesting? How come you weren't thinking about that? What, and not only that, but what kind? Oh, well, we're going to get your attention as if in this community, this story that was covered hysterically by every local television station for hours and hours and still is today, as if they hadn't gotten the attention, and as if Lincoln Diaz-Balart and Ileana Gross-Leighton and all these other panderers, no matter how the Coast Guard would have treated these 6 people, as if this wouldn't have been 24 hours a day. So don't give me that song and a dance. We had to get somebody's attention. There has never in the history of the U.S. been a group of people who have been so catered to, so pandered to, so coddled, given so many exceptions to whatever the laws are. The laws are this for everybody else, but we'll make you an exception. And it's always, well, you know, you owe us the Bay of Pigs, some other goddamn excuse. How long are we going to keep hearing that from 40 years ago already, okay? It's old and it's tired, and it's got nothing to do with... And then the best part of the whole deal is, I'm sitting there at the track last night, real early. I get there 6 o'clock. I'm watching the local news. And we've got this group of old Getchkis on there, about 500 years old. There's Peter Leonard, thank God. I told you he's a good guy so far. And they're on there talking about, well, this is only the beginning. You see, when, like many people said yesterday, when you cave in and you keep caving into people's demands, they say, oh, yeah, well, this is working. Let's keep it up. Now, I've got 50,000 different articles I clipped out here, but where's the one that's got the name of this group? And of course, the smuggling story, we're not supposed to mention that these guys were in real good shape and that most people are thinking it was, you know, a smuggling ring that got them to wherever they were, which is what usually goes on. Oh, yeah, and you're not supposed to say that. Oh, here it is. The Junta Patriotica Cubana, an umbrella group that encompasses 156 exile groups, is planning a large protest again on Saturday to condemn the U.S. policy toward Cuban immigrants. They released no specifics on the event yesterday. Authorities anger the exiles by publicizing their suspicions that the 6 refugees had paid smugglers to guide them into U.S. waters. The men denied it. But they were in pretty damn good shape for guys that were supposed to be out there at sea in their little rowboat for God only knows how many days. No blisters, no sunburn, not me real bad sunburn, no dehydration, clothed nicely, the whole deal. Real good shape for guys who were supposed to be adrift at sea, wandering their way up here for days on end. And all you have to do is say something that doesn't, you know, it just doesn't smell the right flavor. Oh, boy. Well, we're going to show you again on Saturday. It's unacceptable. I don't give a crap how many of you assholes on television and in the newspapers, both newspapers today, of course, the Herald and the Sun Sentinel, with editorials. The Sun Sentinel just barely mentions the disruption of the protest, but nobody condemns it. Nobody has got except like I said, for a few of us on the radio, nobody's got the cojones in this town to say, this crap has got to stop. These people whose lives you're destroying have got nothing to do with your grievances, whatever the hell they are. God, what does it take to convey? And this business, and last night, they say, okay, the INS agrees these guys can stay here. Hallelujah, okay. Is that good enough?
No.
That's still not good enough. We're going to continue doing more and more and more until whatever, you just cave in. And like so many people have said, and right on target, if this would have been a bunch of Haitians protesting the immigration policies of the Haitians, or if it would have been a bunch of black people protesting anything they might have been or anybody else. Just like when Castronova sent Omelet and those people over on Little Havana yesterday, and they're blocking off traffic. How do you like it now? And here come the cops along. If you don't get off the street, we're going to throw your ass in jail. So not only do we have separate immigration policies and all sorts of other policies and exceptions for groups of people in this town, and we have politicians, including Mayor Penis, who are the mayor only for certain ethnic groups in this town, but also we have law enforcement for certain groups of people in this town. If you happen to be Cuban, you can go out there and do whatever the hell you want on the street. It's basically the message you're sending right now. If you're pissed off and fired up, but if you're not, like you're even like Puerto Rican, you better cut the crap because we're not going to put up with it. Your ass will be in jail. They should have brought the riot police, everybody necessary, and cleared those damn. This was a potentially life-threatening situation the other night. And instead of caving in, pandering all the time, they should have one time said, hey, guess what? We got lots of jail cells. We're going to fill them up with all you assholes because this isn't the way to run a railroad. I'm not going to tolerate this. But the problem is, all the rest of us here in South Florida, we got nobody. There's no constituency, man. We got no spokesman to go to bat for us. While every other politician in town is bending over backward and hyperventilating to try to, win the most brownie suck-around points. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello?
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Down in Andrews in Broward Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale, and there's a guy out here with a big old sign saying, send all the Cubans back, and the news station is here. So I don't know what kind of reaction we're going to get from it, but it don't look like a lot of people stopping and helping them. It's one guy with a big sign.
Okay.
That just shows you how the white people will all stick together. They'll send them Cubans back.
Okay, thanks so much, sir. Send them back, as I said. Okay, we'll see you, George. 5670560. George, by the way, is Yugoslavian. He didn't want to tell anybody that. It's kind of embarrassing. It's not, one of the most popular ethnicities, and they've had all those problems over there recently, so.
Serbian, thank you very much.
Right. Barbarian. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Going back to what you said a few minutes ago, I sell advertising in this town, and I can't tell you how many people say their ads don't work, yet you're sitting there calling 4 or 5 different ads, and nobody could. You're looking to spend your money, and nobody can accommodate you. These people spend thousands of dollars on advertising,
right?
Yet they don't answer their phones, and they open up whenever they want.
How do you like that? I mean, this guy, these people. It's what was the name of this place, by the way, George? The one that isn't open and isn't returning your call.
BJ's.
BJ's. I mean, you see those optical places all over the place, and I'm not choosy. I mean, as long as it's a name that we've heard of before, it's just an emergency situation. Give me some things that are going to stick together, and that's it.
You're ready to spend your money, yet you can't spend it.
Right.
That's just my point. This town sucks. Later.
Okay, thank you. Well, it's like the time that I wanted to buy the damn CD thing. Well, Boca Brian from our friends up at, what was the name of that joint? See, I don't even remember the name of that place because I never heard of it before. The CD.
Sam Goody or...
Sam something or other, whatever the hell that place
Sam
is.
Ash.
Yeah, Sam Ash. Yeah, Ashhole.
Rectum.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, we can't leave the store without paying, and then you can't, I had 75, they know who I am, okay? There's somebody over there who's a fan of mine in the store. Yeah, but we have store rules, and we can't take Brian's check because he's a deadbeat, and we can't. So, fine, by the time we got through with that song of the dance, that production, like the guy says, you're trying to spend your money, but, oh, well, we can't do it that way. Okay. Blow it out your ass, Sam Ass. Oh, boy, it's great having these shades on and then taking them off. Like, oh, wow, look at that.
Your heart out, Pete Bolger, because starting this Monday, only on 560 WQAM, it's the O.J. Simpson, Water Nazi, and Roy Foster Show. 6 to 10 a.m., Monday through Friday, only on 560 WQAM.
1032
Sports
at 5.
Fag Radio.
60 WQAM. Okay, calm down. Speaking of OJ, by the way, it's interesting. Cocoa Plum vows to keep Simpson out is what it says.
Oh!
And also Jose Lambit in his marginal South Florida Insider column this morning, which I do read because there might occasionally be something we want to talk about on the air, says Jackie Nesbral has in common with politically connected mall builder Michael Swerdlow that they both live in Cocoa Plum and they're terrified that their property values will be going. I don't think they have to worry about it. Be going down. Because I don't think OJ be going to move in there because the residents there overwhelmingly say, do they want him there?
No.
And if and when he fills out the application and pays his $7,000 to try to get in there, they're going to all say,
no.
Sorry. The association is going to say, well, we did a personal check and a credit check. We're not too crazy about murderers moving in here. The answer is
no.
Right. Go move in with
Roy.
Okay, so we're going to play that clip because, now let me set this up for a second, because I'm beginning to discover we've got the anti-Neil. See, and it's interesting, like in this trend that came out the other day, the morning. See, my show and Hank's show, evidently there's no crossover with the morning show. Because there seems to be, like, when I go up, Hank goes up a little bit, he goes down to 10th, there seems to be, like, some carryover between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. But the morning, they're like in their own separate world. They got their own agenda. And even though they had all those Wire diaries in this last trend and that phony length of listenership, which made it look like they went up and they really didn't, but nevertheless. So whatever Neil says in the morning, it's like we're going to be the anti-Neil, including some of the people that work on the show. I don't want to mention Donnie B, because up till I heard that he was kissing Chris Moore's ass and going on about how great Chris Moore was, I thought he was a pretty good guy. You know, never stole a freight train. Not great, but okay. Now we're finding out that
he's an asshole.
Yeah. And here's another example of it.
5670560, toll free in South Florida, or pound 560 if you're a Mobile One customer driving around this rain once again.
Yeah.
And there he is. Give a shout out to Todd Greck, the man.
Yeah, they love him in there in the morning, by the way. Yeah, he goes in there. See, he's not, that's why he don't have time to be servicing these accounts in here, like the one that's still dated 11/16/98, that piece of copy. That's getting close to a year old, by the way, now. The one that he came here and stormed around and made the big Timus last time I kicked his frickin' ass out of here a couple of weeks ago. Haven't seen him since. He don't have time for that because he's busy schmoozing with the morning guys in there, including Donnie B. It's unbelievable. I mean, we always thought Donnie B was a good guy till the last couple of weeks, and then we find out he's an asshole. How do you like that? I mean, the Beast, we like him. Huh? Tommy, great guy. Jason, now Jason was a good guy till he started, sucking around too much for food the other day. That was a little bit over the edge. And believe me, you don't need it, sweetheart. Okay, Jason? Off the food. Missing a couple of lunches this week wouldn't be a bad idea. In fact, every week. A couple of Yom Kippurs a week would be good for us, Jason. All of us. But sucking up to Todd Greck, I mean, this is like, he the man. You the man. That's the thing in there. Rather than taking care of the business, he runs around a building stirring up crap. He's the anti-Neil, Todd Greck, and there's one of his disciples, Donnie B. And a whole morning crew. That's all they talk about. I came in one day earlier in the week. It's like, oh, yeah, that Todd Greck, you really got him psychotic. Like, he's worth talking about, Todd Greck? No. Go out and sell something. Go service an account. Get some real copy in here. Give us some feedback on what's going on instead of just running around being a professional crap disturber. But that's the QAM way, and do I really care about it when you come right down?
No,
I just mentioned it in passing, of course. So Donnie B, he's an asshole. Yeah. Very disappointing. A bitter blow and a bitter disappointment. A guy that we thought was like on our side turns out to be a piece of dreck. Oh, sorry. Did I say Greck? 5670560, pound 560 on the Mobile One line. OJ, Cocoa Plum people vow to keep him out. And we say, hallelujah, for a bunch of people who live over there that are willing to stand up for what's right and don't want a goddamn murderer in their midst. What are we going to do about those murderers in our midst? Don't say gorillas. Now, it's interesting, by the way, speaking of this Timus that went on here 2 days ago, flurry of negotiations defused standoff. And it goes on here, in the Herald, Karen Branch writes one of 72 different articles today about this business. None of which, by the way, none of them condemning anybody for going out and disrupting the whole town and holding the county hostage, which is basically what Dade County, it's being held hostage. You know, if you do it our way, fine. If you change the laws, fine. Otherwise, we're just going to screw up the whole county. Everybody's life isn't worth a crap. But it's interesting. It goes on to talk about how they had to negotiate with this Ramon Saul Sanchez of the Democracy Movement, whoever the hell he is. But it says, anatomy of a protest. A Coast Guard captured televised live spurs veteran street leaders to seize the bridge at rush hour, aided by a spontaneous swell of hundreds directed to the scene by exile radio broadcasters. Now, isn't this just what I said the other day? Yeah. They get on the Spanish language radio station. It sounds and it smells just like Mariel all over again when they were doing the same irresponsible, get your boats, go to the shore, go to the beach, and get your boats and bring all these other scumbags that Fidel is sending over, the murderers and the criminals and the mental patients, bring them in here. They said, okay. And like I've said before, they can cause civil disobedience, they can do anything they want, and the FCC pays no attention to anything they do. Because like the old bumper stickers used to say, this is Miami, the rules are different here. We'll do whatever the hell we want. And they do. And even later on in the article, it says, over the next hours, after the Sanchez guy got in there to try to negotiate the end of this whole thing and get these people off the road, it says, over the next hours, this is even after they had been told that these guys were not going to be sent back. Over the next hours, hundreds more protesters gathered, urged on by exile radio hosts. And this is the history of this town. It's always been that way. It's the same old over and over again. And nobody wants to talk about it. They just go on. And, of course, the only thing we hear about is the Coast Guard, and they were excessive violence and brutality, and how did they with the pepper spray and spraying with the water and this and that. And like I said, the Channel 4 poll, 72% of the people said they thought they did their job. They were doing a good job. I have no problem with it. They handled it. Only 28%. I mean, that's just barely more than a fourth of the people who responded, and you know emotions are very high about this. My only criticism is when the Coast Guard saw that the TV choppers were there and this was all on live TV, probably they could have used a hell of a lot more restraint and done a better job knowing how high emotions and how hysterical people in this community get over all these things. That's my main criticism, is that once they saw that the cameras were there, they should have used a hell of a lot more restraint. But nevertheless, that's a separate issue. That's a separate discussion and debate. And you notice yesterday, they were in there on the carpet in Washington, Lincoln Diaz Bullard, Lincoln Diaz, and Ileana Gross-Leighton and Rosanna Dana. They were in there, and they had them sitting in there in the office, and how dare you do this? And they're all pontificating and making their little speeches. And on the floor of Congress, they're all in there going, yeah. Whatever happened to law-abiding people? I mean, whatever happened to, like, just living your life, you know, without having it disrupted and turned to a pile of crap by out-of-control people? And again, this morning, watching more of the footage, it was almost all young people who were involved in this crap, not the old people that have always been, that's always been the excuse. Oh, it's just the old domino players in Domino Park. No.
Agarra la miel, Junior.
Get away and feel the release. Smell the fresh sea air. Take in the unparalleled experience of Cuban rafting on Big Laddick. It's like a vacation, away from your troubles, your life back home. You're the skipper on a journey to a better place. The only thing between you and your destination is whatever nature has planned for you that day. Unpredictable, breathtaking, life-threatening. Cuban rafting on Big Laddick. Row your way to something better. Row faster. No, faster. Here come the sharks. Gotta row much faster than that. Row, damn it. Paid for by the U.S. Navy.
10:45 at 560 WQM. Jim Mad Dog Mandich. Yeah. For Hank Goldberg, who's on his way to Vegas today, of course. He'll be off for a great vacation. Hank will be on the air from Vegas tomorrow, by the way, and then on vacation all next week. Then what do we got? Can I see that far from here? We got Talking Baseball with what's his name at 6 o'clock. 6:30, the Mets and the Marlin pregame, and the game tonight at 7 o'clock. Another one. Nice going Marlins last night. Oh! Anybody care about that? Of course not. So anyway, this town continues to take it up the butt from people who just, Oh, that's going to come in great. Nice going, Geldy. Huh? In fact, that's where we hear Donnie B likes it the best. Up the butt. No, don't pick on him too much, just because he likes assholes. I mean, there's some guys that like the old brown eye, you know. Maybe he's like Troy Aikman. Maybe that's his hero. He likes Chris Moore. He's big into Todd Gregg. Maybe Donnie B just, has a problem. Up the butt. 567-0560, pound 560 on the Mobile One line. Just something the way Geldy says these things, you know? Up the butt. Yeah. With that certain tone. Here's Davey. Hello. Davey. Going once. 25 minutes and 21 seconds. Huh? Say Grove.
Hello?
Oh, like I said, the Grove. Well, I'm surprised. It looks like Davey from here, from 100 inches away. Yes, sir. Let's go to Coconut Grove. Speaking. Yes, sir.
Okay, let me put my little 2 cents on
Go
this.
right ahead.
I certainly don't condone the Cuban demonstration.
Yes, but
you and your callers act like the Cubans burned down a federal building. There are very different degrees of civil disobedience, and this was a very, very minor form of it. Let's get real.
No, sir. When you disrupt traffic and you jeopardize public safety and people's lives for hours on end, there were some people stuck in these traffic jams for 5 hours.
Well, I'll get to that in a second if you permit me. I think what really bothers you and your callers is that the Cubans get away with this cocky and arrogant behavior, and you like your Hispanics to either be completely assimilated or dumbed off.
No, sir. Let me say this to you. I like all people, don't tell me what I like. I like all people to have consideration for everybody else, okay? If you've got a gripe, take it to where it belongs, okay? Take it to the people who do something about it, and don't disrupt the life of everybody else in the community,
right,
whether you're Hispanic or anything else. And don't keep saying Hispanic, because it wasn't Hispanics, it was Cubans, not Hispanics. It wasn't Argentinians, it wasn't Venezuelans, it wasn't Puerto Ricans. It's a Cuban thing, and you know that as well as I do.
You didn't listen to me very carefully. I said that you like your Hispanics.
How do you know how I like my Hispanics? Medium well, that's how I like my Hispanics. You like your Hispanics, okay? You only should know how I like my Hispanics. Young and hung. 567-0560, pound 5. So what an asshole, man. Just unbelievable. It wasn't that much of a big deal, and you like your... Yeah, right. We like people, like I've said before, who are decent people, who have a little bit of consideration for everybody else. That's the way most people, most rational, reasonable people would agree with that. It's not any kind of revolutionary statement I've just made. But again, in trying to defend undefendable, indefensible actions, you're trying to, again, point the finger, me and my callers, and everybody who doesn't agree with the world are seen through your eyes. Okay, sir? And the fact is that the people in this town, I know overwhelmingly, if they were to take a poll, see, instead of taking a poll about the Coast Guard thing, which I'm shocked at the result of that poll, if all the TV stations were to take a poll on the civil disobedience and blocking the traffic and risking people's lives and all this other bullcrap, and in addition to which nobody has really thought about what the potential for unbelievable violence was there, with people getting stuck on the roads for 4 or 5 hours. What was that you were having a nervous breakdown about?
One of my brothers.
Oh.
Attacking me.
For what?
For having a problem with people blocking traffic. I'm anti-Cuban because I don't think people should block traffic.
Let me just tell you this. You know what the answer to that is? There you go, right there. Quick dial tone always works for me real fast. George is back with the bag over his head.
This is my Cuban bag.
Yeah, see, we're not interested in those of you who think that this is a satisfactory solution to your solving your grievances, is to blocking traffic for hours on end and putting people at risk. That's not the way that the real world works. Especially when you've already gotten your way. We've already got these 6 people have been allowed to come in here. Very good possibility that we're smuggled in, but don't confuse people with the facts. And only say those things that we want you to say, because we believe in freedom, but only if it's our freedom. Freedom to disrupt everybody else's life. Horse crap, horse balls, that's what it is. And you can keep arguing from now till the end of time. The fact is the overwhelming majority of people with an IQ bigger than a ball bearing, they're not going to agree with you because they know that's not the way people's lives are supposed to work. Here's Hialeah. Hello.
How you doing, Neil?
Okay, sir.
Thank you for telling it how it is, especially with this Cuban thing. That previous caller is the epitome of assholism.
Yes.
I mean, to say minor civil disobedience.
Yeah.
I saw the tapes on the Palmetto Expressway in Hialeah here. They were breaking windows.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that. I don't know what station he's
did.
listening to. He's an idiot. Anyway, to take it a step further, the Coast Guard risks their lives every day to protect the borders of this country.
You know something? There was a young girl. I don't know if you saw this one. She had a sign that says the U.S. Coast Guard kills Cubans.
No, the U.S. Coast Guard is like is like Castro. I saw a sign that said...
She had one that said the U.S. Coast Guard kills Cubans. How many thousands of Cuban boat people have been saved by the U.S. Coast Guard by guys going out there in the high seas, risking their lives to save these people who are, doing their best to get here? Well, what are these people talking about?
It's selfish, third world mentality that will not go away. And these guys risk their lives every day against a criminal element that's trying to come into this country. Everybody knows that the Cuban mafia runs the drugs in here to South Florida. It's not the Mexicans. It's not the Colombians. It's the Cubans. They do it, but they don't fess up to it.
Right. Don't leave out the Jamaicans.
Yeah, man.
They don't want to feel left out.
With the good stuff.
Okay. Boy, I'm gagging. I think I'm gagging over that call, a couple of calls back. That guy was unbelievable. Yeah, you like your Hispanics. Yeah, I'll tell you how I like my Hispanics. I'll draw you a picture. 567-0560, and don't keep saying Hispanics over and over again and keep trying to lump everybody else in, because I guarantee you other non-Cuban Hispanics resent that bitterly, because they're not the ones that keep disrupting this community and carrying on like a bunch of banshees in heat every time. Just like this thing with a guy with his little rickety boat a couple months ago, which it makes reference to in these 8,200 stories in the papers again this morning. Oh, he didn't get his boat back. We're going to just keep tying up the town. It's going to reach the point, I hate to break the news to you, but it's going to reach the point when nobody's going to go to Dade County anymore. When everybody with a brain is going to move out of Dade County, and you can all have it. Here you go. Have a good time with it. Go and block each other off on the streets. Which, of course, on the Palmetto, by the way, I hate to break the news to you, but who are the majority of people who live in that area? Cubans. So nice going to your fellow. You're so worried about your fellow brothers, but if you happen to make them late for their work or whatever the hell they were going, or late for dinner, or late for something important, or maybe on the way to the hospital, maybe some woman is on the verge of having a baby, she's in labor. Don't worry about those things. Don't confuse us with the facts. Those are your neighbors. Go out there and screw up their lives because you want to have a party in the streets anytime you feel like it. Oh, yeah, they had hundreds of punks out there, too. That was the thing on the Palmetto that really
it was a gang.
Spurted off. Yeah, they had a gang out there who decided this would be a good time to go out there and throw the rocks in the bottles and break some windows and kick some ass. Great. Nice going, Spanish language media. Oh! You're really doing it, baby. And like I said, if we were to go on here, which we wouldn't do, but if we were to go on here and spur something that caused civil disobedience, you bet your sweet ass the FCC be here in 5 minutes. And there'd be all kinds of formal complaints, and they'd be on every damn media outlet in this town would be screaming and pointing the fingers, and oh, how dare they be condemning us like crazy. But they're so goddamn terrified to open up a mouth and say something, either that or they're just so goddamn stupid, or maybe both of the above, that it just goes on and on unimpeded, and it just never stops. And like you saw, like so many people said yesterday, you give people their way and you cave in, and they're, oh yeah, well that worked. We're gonna do some more of it. They got big plans for this weekend. So if you're smart, we got the holiday, the 4th of July holiday. Maybe everybody get out of town for the weekend. If you're smart. Here's North Miami. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think the Cubans get
Can't hear you, sir.
I think the Cubans get more special treatments than the others.
Yes.
And also, if that was like other Haitian American, or African American, anybody of African descent protesting in the streets like that,
they'd all be in jail.
Yes, especially like that. And also with the immigration policy towards like Haitian Americans with the Cuban thing, I think that immigration, INS, whatever they call them, is so racist. The Cubans will get to stay either way. It doesn't matter. If a Haitian comes dying on the sea, they'll let them die.
Yeah.
But when the Cubans come floating on the sea, they get coffee con leche, whatever they call that thing. And also,
that was the first thing. They brought these 6 guys the other day.
Yeah.
Here's coffee con leche. Here's some cash. Here's a Visa Master. Here's a driver's license. Here's a little brown Toyota.
I have a question. Why I do not see no black Cubans come washing the sea? Why does no see all the white Cubans who come?
No, we've had plenty of black Cubans
No,
washing up on the sea, but as soon as they say that they're Cuban, and especially like like El Duque, they like him. If they can play baseball, they're okay.
That's a different domain.
Yeah.
Anyway, like if a black Cuban, one time I remember when a black Cuban had came washing the sea, they thought they was Haitian. You can see how INS so racist.
Yeah.
I know, and they didn't give them no intention. So I think that INS immigration naturalization service, whatever they call them, is so racist towards people of African descent. Right?
That's the American fucking way.
Okay, good luck to you, sir. God bless you. 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't know whether you saw this on Sentinel, Neil, but the amazing thing about it, in one of the articles, and it just kind of matter-of-factly stated, one of these guys came here a year or two ago, went to Arizona, worked in Arizona for a year, went back to Cuba, I guess through Mexico because his mother died or something. They could get on a raft 2 weeks later and came back here.
Yeah, it's the second time is a charm, right?
Unbelievable.
Uh-huh.
So as they say,
well, maybe things weren't as, hospitable in Arizona as they will be here.
But when I saw that, I said to myself, it's what have they got, kind of an underground railway or what, unbelievable.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah, but don't confuse people with the facts. This is just like the the courageous freedom flotilla. And during those times, the rest of us are sitting here pulling our hair out, wondering what are these people in the media talking about? They're turning this town into a toilet. Castro has just unloaded all these thousands of criminals and mental patients back in 1980 on his town, and the media's calling us a courageous freedom flotilla. And there wasn't any, other than on the radio, on English language radio, there wasn't anybody then who had the balls to say, "Hey, wait a minute, cut the crap here. Let's stop this." Yeah, you guys just can't say the truth in this town because it's like swimming upstream. You just can't do it. You're fighting a losing battle, man, because there's nobody to go to bat for you. There are a handful of people that got balls in this town to tell you the truth, and the rest of the people are all sucking up to a bunch of bullcrap and encouraging it to and perpetuating it, including the mayor of Dade County. Sir, you are a disgrace. You are a disgrace. Condemning the Coast Guard in the strongest terms. You know something? If that's your opinion, fine. How about making some statement about the goddamn civil disobedience and blocking off all the goddamn highways and jeopardizing people's life and limb? How about that? Just a comment. You owe an apology, Mr. Penis, to every other person in goddamn South Florida, because not just in Dade County, because plenty of people travel the goddamn highways in this town who don't live in Dade County. But of course we won't get it, because you're not worried about anybody else's votes, are you? Spineless piece of turd. And just wait till July 29th, baby, because everybody in Dade County is going to say,
no,
to your goddamn penny sales tax. They're going to tell you to... Right. Or to be a little bit more genteel about it, as Geldy would say, to stick it up the butt.
Oh!
Oi! I'm queer, that's my admission. I'm a bag who likes gin balls. I'm here to confirm suspicion. It's fact, but that's not all. I'll be anything that proves as long as it's alive. If no matter to me, if it's girl or if it's guy, but I prefer a fish brown eye. Inside brown eye, eyesight in the libido and love eye. I like guys, that's why I love a libido and love eye. Love a libido and love eye. Love a libido and love eye. I've got one addition to what I confess. I found a new addiction. I like to wear a dress. I look at your satisfied, the best for driving home. I'm not the one for the chips. I want to very long, like a bullet through the pipe. Inside, down, out, outside, it'll be the best of life.
Oh!
I like, that's right, I love the beat of the love. Love the beat of the love. Love the beat of the love.
That's what Ricky says, practice makes perfect. 11:03 at 560 QM. Don't forget, because the nephew will be real disappointed and depressed and bugging you a lot if I don't mention this. The QAM van will be at the Amoco gas station, 21005 Biscayne Boulevard in North Miami Beach, noon to 1 today. They got some real great stuff. Great stuff?
No.
They got some crap they want to get rid of, some QAM goodies and some Wild Wild West movie stuff. You know, it's always great when it says goodies and stuff. Instead of like something specific like, what are you talking about? If I'm going to drive like 10 blocks or 20 blocks or 4 miles to go over there and see you idiots. You know, like something specific. But it just says Wild Wild West movie stuff. Like maybe a Will Smith blow-up doll, something grotesque like that. Oh, God.
Speaking of QAM goodies,
yeah?
Have you seen the shirts and the hats that are floating around the building and everything?
No.
Remember at IOD, whenever the shirts would come out every year, the new polo shirts, they'd give you like 3, they'd give me 3.
Right.
The little part-time.
So in other words, they have them and we haven't got any?
They have them, and no, I asked about them. I said, hey, where's the shirt? How many do I get? Do I pick 1, 2, 3,
yeah,
et cetera, and so on? And they said, no, you have to pay for these. And I thought, the nephew was pulling my leg.
Wait. You have to pay for
That's
these?
That's exactly what I said. I said, no, you're joking. Really. How many shirts do I get?
Well, I don't understand. Who has to pay? In other words, the
Everyone who wants
Why
one.
would we want to pay for them? I mean, I know it's raining a lot, and those hats I see that Joe's wearing, it makes for a real good rain catcher when you put the brim up there just right, the brim on the brim. You have to pay for them? Oh, my God. You know something? There is nothing you could have told me. Nothing that would have been more astonishing. I mean, more than anybody, I realize just how cheap these bastards are and how they don't want to, they still got the first 2 nickels they ever made so they can rub them together all day. But who ever heard of working in a radio station or a television station or any media outlet where they have T-shirts and hats and station promotional items and the employees have to pay for them? Has anybody ever in their life heard of such a thing?
No.
I am speechless at this point. Seriously. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was on the phone. Did they tell you how much for that hat?
No.
Only $50.
$10.
For that piece of crap?
For that Gilligan hat.
Who would be? Yeah, it's a Gilligan hat. You wouldn't be caught. Although I'll tell you one thing: if you're out there at sea, good for bailing water out of the little rickety boat.
Keep the sun off your nose.
Right. Evidently, it worked like a charm. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what I feel about this, I feel like what I'm going to do myself and what I think everybody else should do is, and I've never owned any, is go buy some pepper spray. And the next time any asshole gets out on the road and blocks traffic and wreaks havoc like they did,
Yeah.
get out and spray their ass.
Yeah.
They're the ones that deserve the pepper spray.
Yeah, but see, the only problem with that is that what they did is they went out there like on a MacArthur and they parked their cars and they got out of their cars and they left them sitting there and they just were having a big demonstration with their cars blocking off all the traffic. So even if you wanted to do anything, they weren't in the cars. The cars were just sitting there as blocking things.
Well, there could have been a field day for some tow truck drivers.
Right. Well, it should have been. It should have been a field day for people who want to enforce the law, but we don't have anybody in Dade County who wants to enforce the law.
And thanks for speaking up for it, Neil.
Okay, pal. 567. Oh, boy, if only old Claude Pepper were still here today, huh? We could spray him a little bit. Couldn't hurt at this point, I guess. Here's a lady in North Miami. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
Most of us non-Cuban Hispanics that came to this country on a plane, legally,
Right.
For the privilege to live in this country, would like to tell those ignorant morons
Yes.
that they don't understand that if they would do this in any of the countries we came from, would have a different point of view the next day because we would be dead.
Okay.
They don't allow those things in the countries we're coming from. And what they do is they make us hate them more and more.
Every day.
Every day.
I mean, here the guys...
I hate them because people think I may be
The
Cuban.
guys are going to get to stay here now, okay? These 6 guys are being given asylum. They get to stay here now. And they're still talking about more demonstrations. They're not done yet. This is only the beginning, they're saying. You ain't seen nothing yet. Isn't that great?
I'm telling all my friends from South America to buy a raft and get here.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
See ya. Hasta que your meters. What was that? Oh, it was me. Well, I can't see what the hell's going on. Okay, boy, I love taking these shades off because then I feel, wow, look at this. This is great. Look at that.
Anybody have a heart or a liver?
And now, thoughts.
The universe is a strange and wonderful place and needs to be treated with respect. Cute and cuddly teddy bears can eat you alive. Always pay off your debts because you can't always count on killing the bill collector. Be prepared for things to go wrong. They usually will. When something is out of whack, does that mean that at some point it was in whack? When cheese gets its picture taken, what does it say? If you buy stolen equipment, make damn sure it can't be tracked back to you. If you stood next to Billy Blank on top of a tall building and pushed him off, he'd scream like a girl all the way down. If a piano player is called a pianist, why don't we call race car drivers racist? If people from Poland are called Poles, why don't we call people from Holland Poles?
Uh-huh.
And that is the thought for today.
I beg your pardon? Oh, I'm
It's
sorry. 11:15. 11:15 at 560 WQM. Happy Thursday to you. We're having a picnic here today. All we need is the ants. We'll be all set. Now, if it takes me like a couple extra seconds here on these, you do understand that I'm as blind as a bat. Although I'm nearsighted, a damn good thing. If I were farsighted, I'd be going like that all day. But I'm sure Peter Leonard will be back about, 4:30? Here's Doral. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Neil?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, just 2 quick comments. Number 1, I'm a Hispanic American who grew up different cities throughout the United States and as so have come into contact with people that have had to earn their green card citizenship the legal way. And what I do find, two quick things about Cubans I find quite appalling is one is that they seem to be of a very primitive nature. I don't know if it's because they come from an island that I don't know. There's just a sense of
no, you're not generalizing, right? I mean, I just want to make sure.
Well, it's very hard not to, even though I realize that they're...
Because you do realize that the first wave from the early 60s of Cubans that came here, most of those people were highly educated and very skilled doctors and lawyers and people like that.
Okay,
people
so right now we're getting...
a lot of education.
Right now we're getting the worst of the worst.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, since 1980, since Mariel, I mean, you've got to realize that what's left in Cuba now, people are not getting highly educated, and you have a lot of people coming here who are, to put it bluntly, are schleppers.
Okay, well, let me ask you, maybe you know the question to this. How is it that you can arrive in the United States on an afternoon, 2-3 in the afternoon,
Right.
and then the next day at 8 o'clock in the evening or 10 o'clock in the evening, which I saw last night on news, they've already been granted rights to come into the country.
Right.
And help me figure out something here. Do these guys come here with identification on them? How is it that they were able to prove that they had relatives here? And from looking at the news, they didn't have ID with them. So how is it that they were released so quickly? I don't understand this.
You'd have to ask their agent.
I mean,
I can't tell you. I don't know.
I mean,
again, you got to understand that when you've got the political clout and you've got all these hysterical people whipping everybody up into a frenzy and threatening to block off the whole goddamn town, you get your way. And this is the history of the way it's gone here in South Florida.
I mean, normally you have to show.
Normally, but this isn't normal. This isn't the way things are done here. This isn't normal. This is a separate, a whole exception from the immigration policy that makes no sense. It's unacceptable.
I mean, I've had friends that have had to wait and wait and wait in order to get the
right.
And all it takes here is for a few phone calls to be made, and I mean, it takes longer to get a driver's license than it does for a person that comes over here from the island of Cuba to get released into the general population.
Absolutely correct, sir.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah, well, this is Florida, pal.
I mean, have you ever tried to get any business done in the city of Miami?
Okay, have a great day. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. I mean, I could just sit back and he could obviously go till 2 o'clock, which is fine, but what's the point, you know? We know these things, all of these things. And like I've told you before, it ain't going to change. In order for it to change, somebody in a position of authority has to step forward and, start to try to make a change, and there's no such animal. Hi, Aliyah. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Let me say something. The reason all these people that are calling your program and your last caller, let me say something. The reason that we get a special treatment over here when it comes down to immigration is because in our country there is no freedom, and we have had a dictator for 40 years.
Sir, let me ask you this.
You see, there you go.
Just a minute. I mean, you want to have a conversation? I'm going to respond to what you just said. I'll let you talk all you want.
Okay.
Conversation means you say something, which you just did, and I'm going to respond or ask you a question.
Okay.
Is there freedom in communist China? Isn't it a communist country?
There is no freedom in China.
Okay, so now when the Chinese come here, do they automatically get like special exemption?
I think they gave some type of political assignment.
They do?
I think so.
Where'd you hear that?
I don't know.
When the Chinese wash up on the shores of the West Coast, I mean, it's a long schlep across the Pacific, but when if they come up on the shores, they're automatically allowed into the country to stay here?
I don't know what they do, but
No.
I think they get a political asylum
No.
when they get here.
No.
Anyway, well, let's not jump off the boat. Let's talk about the Haitians and the Cubans. Why do we get a special treatment and why they don't? Okay.
I'm listening.
In Cuba, there is no freedom. No, we have had a dictatorship for 40 years.
Well, what do you mean for 40 years? What about before those 40 years?
What about before 40 years?
Just what I said. What about Batista? He wasn't a dictator?
Batista was a dictator too for 7 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what does that mean?
That's why Castro took him out of power.
Yeah.
Because he spent 3 more years.
Sir, you've had a dictator in Cuba for as long as anybody can remember.
Yes, yes.
And
I just want to say...
let me ask you this. What about those poor people, those desperate people in Kosovo? What about all of those people? You've seen that they go back and their houses have been burned down. All of their possessions are gone. They're poorly educated. They have no skills. Their children are like starving to death. What about those people? If they come up on shore, are we going to let them in too?
The Cuban situation is totally different.
Sir, I didn't say anything about Cuban. Forget if you can. I know it's very difficult. Forget the word Cuban for one moment and answer my question about the Kosovars. What about those people?
I'm not talking about Kosovo. I'm not
why
talking
not?
about China. I'm
Why
talking
not?
about Cuba.
Yeah.
The
well,
problem.
we're not, okay? We're talking about the world in general, which you can't do. And the fact is, sir, the rest of us, I keep trying to tell you this, and you think either I'm joking or you just don't want to hear it. It's not penetrating your skull. We don't care, okay? We're not interested in Cuba. We're tired of having Cuba used as a weapon to beat over our heads so that you can tell us how we're going to live in this country. Sorry, we don't like it. There are plenty of other dictatorships. There have been plenty of dictatorships in this hemisphere all over Latin America. And we didn't just open up the door and say to everybody, hey, if you can put your toe on the soil, we'll let you in. I mean, if you're from a communist country, we'll give you a hearing, and maybe you'll stay, maybe you won't stay. If you're from Haiti, maybe you get a hearing, maybe you'll stay, and probably not. They'll send you back in a hurry. I am so sick and tired of hearing this bullcrap. And every time you want to talk about the rest of I'm not talking about that. I don't care from that. Of course you don't, because you're one-dimensional. You know, if you keep force-feeding something to people over and over and over again long enough, they finally just want to vomit. They want to puke every time they hear it. And that's the way this thing is. And I keep telling you, and you don't want to believe it. You think I'm a bigot, I'm a bad guy. What difference does it make to me as long as I can drive the goddamn roads? But the fact is that the people who live in this town are sick of it. They're nauseated with it, with your frenzy and your hysteria. And we're sick and tired of hearing about Castro, and he's a dictator, and he's evil. And, fine, okay. We'll pack him a goddamn sandwich with a bomb in it, okay, if that'll make you happy. But in the meantime, people here would like to live their frickin' lives already. It's 40 years later. He ain't going away. And we aren't going to be able to open up the door and let the whole goddamn island come over here at your whim. Which evidently is what you think is what ought to happen. We got people out on the streets in this town who are starving to death. We have little kids who are like just abandoned. We have people making babies like rabbits. And nobody cares about any of these people. And by the way, nice job on that Honduran kid, by the way, you people in the media, on the 13-year-old kid with that hoax. Nice job. Oh! Yeah, they shoved that way in the back in the paper now today. If you look to about page 95A, maybe you might find it. About how they got all sucked in on that story. Whole story was a hoax. It's all we're supposed to be concerned about is just letting the whole. Why not just have big ships go over there? We'll get Mickey Urison. We'll give him the deal. He needs the money. Just go over there and let everybody on the island come over here. All in Dade County. How many people are over there now? About 2 million? What's the population now? What do they got left? About 40 people left over there?
Yeah, a couple.
No, seriously, what's the population of Cuba?
I have no idea anymore.
Well, whatever it is, 2 million, 4 million, whatever it might be, somebody will tell us. Let them all come in. I mean, the city is already bankrupt. Half of Dade County is a toilet. We have lots and lots of parts of Dade County. The slum would be a compliment. Ghettos, people living in destitute, grotesque. The school system in South Florida is a disgrace. But hey, don't worry about these things because these people have decided, comunista, and we're tired of it. We're sick and tired of it already, okay? And God forbid you go back to talking about opening up diplomatic relations. Oh, my God. God forbid you mention that. And improving the quality of life for the people who are down there and starting to face reality. This is what it is. Accept it, whether you like it or not. We've been doing business with dictators all over the world for as long as anybody can remember. Here's Palm Beach. Hello.
Uncle Neil.
Yes, sir.
Just to change the subject, I'm sure it's a subject that you've already spoken on, but you know who's on TV tonight? The Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
Family Channel, 8 o'clock.
Oh! All right, thank you, sir. George is really pleased. Here's a Mobile and Kendall. Hello.
Want me to tape it for you?
No. Mobile and Kendall.
Yeah. Neil.
Yes.
I happened to have been in a restaurant yesterday afternoon when this whole thing started. And all Cubans were in there. Oh, God. I'm halfway to Key West.
Yeah.
And I said to the people, what about those people on the bridge?
Yeah.
She started cheering. She said, good Cubans, go Cubans, go Cubans. I said, I hope your mother's not stuck on the damn road.
Yeah.
Help.
Your
You
mama.
people are something else. I says, I'm sick of you people, just plain sick of it. Neil, don't give up. Someday it might happen. Don't give up.
Okay. Just tell her your mama is on the bridge.
Damn God.
Hello, you have reached Dickey's Workers' Choice Catalog and Information Line. To speak with a representative or if you have a rotary phone, please stay on the line. Thank you.
Transferring to an operator. Please wait.
Dickey's Customer Service, this is Luann. How may I help you?
Yeah, my Luann, hi.
Hi.
You like Dickies?
Sure.
I guess a lot of women do, huh?
Oh, I believe so.
My woman says she loves to get Dickies.
I see.
She likes a lot of them. You know. Can understand some gay guys like Dickies.
Well, I really really don't know. Never really thought about that.
What's the biggest dickies you've seen?
Well, sir, we go up to a 72 waist.
Oh, my God. Do you like little dickies, too?
Sir,
I think my girl basically likes big dickies.
well, is there a point to this conversation, sir?
Yeah, just that I get to say dickie a lot on the phone.
Were you wanting to place an order, sir?
For what?
For clothing?
What? I want to talk about dickies.
Well, sir, that's what we carry is clothing.
Huh? And Bicky Dicky. Yeah.
Sir, if there's no other reason that you're calling this...
My mom liked dickies. A lot of women like dickies.
Sir, I'm going to disconnect.
No, we're talking about dickie.
11:31 at 560 WQM. Don't forget, Mad Dog Mandates for Hank at 2 this afternoon. Hank will be doing a show from Vegas tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And then we got Donnie B., who we used to think was a good guy, but then
he's an asshole.
We found out that he consorts with all the scumbags in the building. Hey, that, somebody's got to. Why the hell not him? Maybe he is just such a nice guy. He wants to be the one guy that'll hang out with people nobody else will talk to, like Todd Dreck. Here's a mobile in Hialeah. Hello.
Yeah, Neil, how you doing?
Pretty good, sir.
Neil, I just wanted to get my 2 cents in about this whole Cuban thing.
Be my guest.
I'm of Cuban descent. I'm American Cuban descent. I'm just a little tired of watching our country, our government, be bullied by these people. Now, they come in here and they claim they want freedom and they're tired of dictatorship, but they have decided that they can choose and pick how our government works, who plays music here, who displays their paintings here. So I think these people...
Who can say what?
I think they have just learned a little bit too much from Fidel Castro, and they want to make democracy the way they want to make it, and they have no idea what it is in the first place.
Absolutely correct, sir.
Well, thank you very much.
And thanks for saying it. Right on target. I've always said that. Freedom of speech is whatever we like. Then you can say it. If we don't like it, then you don't have the freedom to say that or do that or whatever it is. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. I mean, this is, like I said yesterday, there's no debate on this. There's no debate on whether people should be going out and blocking off highways and putting people's lives at jeopardy and tying up people for hours and hours. I mean, I could understand if it was like the end of the world, if the government was like trying to take all our freedoms away or something major, some catastrophic thing that was affecting everyone's lives, and we just had massive civil disobedience and everybody going out and sitting in the streets and like demanding whatever a solution to whatever the problem was. But that's not what this is. We got a group of people who are consistently whipped up into a frenzy by the Spanish language media, and very obediently always do whatever the hell they're told to do, no matter how unacceptable it is, and go out there and do their hysterical thing. And engender more and more divisiveness in this town, and more resentment, and more hatred, and they don't care. That's the worst part. Oh, we don't care. We got the clout. We got the politicians. It's like, in The Godfather. He had all the judges and the politicians in his pocket. He didn't give a crap for everybody else. Ba Fangula, he said to them. Here's a mobile in Oakland Park. Hello. Mobile in Oakland Park. Sounds pretty dead to me. Here's a lady in Miami. Hello. Lady in Miami.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Neil. First of all, I am an American. And I think that every time I see these people out showing their flag, Cuban flag, when in the United States, they should be on their hands and knees thanking God for what we have here in this country. They're taking our rights away from us. I go to Bird Irons, they come up and ask to wait on me in Spanish.
Okay, thank you. 567-0560. Oh, and by the way, I'm almost glad that she said that, although not really, but because that's old and tired. The Sun Sentinel, being very sensitive to the sensitivity of the situation in this community, the volatility of it, picks a great day to put on the op-ed page this morning. Under the heading Language in America, a column by Miriam Marquez, who writes for the Orlando Sentinel, who don't even write in this market. And the column is headed, Why We Speak Spanish Among Ourselves in Public. Nice timing, Sun Sentinel. Oh! Excellent. I woke up this morning, I'm scouring through my 2 papers, and I read this thing, and I thought, what a great time to put that in there, okay? And this is in the Broward paper. This ain't even in the Herald. Why We Speak Spanish Among Ourselves in Public. How do you like that? Talk about just beating, like taking a goddamn 2x4 and beating everybody over the head with it over and over and over again. Oh, we don't understand why you're getting tired of this. We thought you were all into S&M. Yeah, that's why we read the local papers. We're into S&M on the M side. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Thank God for Neil Rogers on the radio during the weekdays.
Neil, God!
Neil, this is the funniest show. I mean, I'm laughing my ass off in my car.
Yeah.
I just wanted to kind of tie this in. The reason there's no authority out on the middle of a bridge when hundreds of people are protesting is because they're all at Miami International Airport giving people tickets.
Yeah.
I was there this morning, and this guy...
Oh, here's a guy who got a ticket, evidently, yeah?
Yeah. I'm listening to you on the radio. My wife's getting on an airplane going to Atlanta. She's kissing the kids goodbye.
Yeah.
And this guy is in the back giving me a ticket. And I'm saying, if the authority was as effective and efficient as this asshole is in the back giving me a ticket,
right.
I mean, those guys would have been thrown off the bridge in about 2 seconds over there on the beach.
But getting tickets is safe law enforcement work. It's like screwing 16-year-olds in Kendall on, in the middle of your daytime assignment. And have a great day, sir. Fine, don't do it again. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a mobile in Miami Lakes. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
What's up? I'm one of those, what do you call it, the old generation in the 60s that came to parents.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not rich, but I'm well off, well educated, and it makes me sick to see my people like that.
Well, only $50.
All right? If they were all to gather up and do that in Cuba, they'd get run over with one of those old Russian tanks.
Yeah.
That's
there
right.
You go. There you go. That's a good idea.
They can act real tough over here.
Mm-hmm.
But why don't they do that over there? If they would have done that way even before, when the shit hit the fan, if they would have done that, maybe they would have gotten to this point, everything.
Right. Amen.
I guess that's just my opinion. Nothing else to say.
Okay. God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. Now, what time's Peter Leonard coming back? Anybody?
No.
Not that I'm getting nervous. It's not even noon yet, and I'm very appreciative. He's my best close personal friend, but I see even JP's got a bag over his head, but I'm not believing that. He's very much into this crap. In fact, he'll be standing out there in the middle of MacArthur Causeway all weekend, just with his arms up in the air. Just for the hell of it, not for any particular reason, just hanging out. Get off your duff. Get off your duff.
Coming next week on Pay-Per-View. Come on, come all. No matter what your political views, you are challenged to a match to the death. Rosie, the Killer Whale O'Donnell, takes on all comers in a steel cage death match. This is a WWF sanctioned match, so don't miss it. Call your cable provider today. Rosie, the Killer Whale, takes on the NRA, neo-Nazis, abortionists, job virtues, and the KKK. It's huge.
It's 18 till noon at 560 WQM. I'll tell you what will go over real big in this town is if we ever got a radio or a TV station, or like a newspaper. Of course, the newspaper will never happen. But forget about radio. We already got that, like me and a few other people. But like a TV station where they actually would come on and give a voice to the people who are not Cuban in South Florida. I'm just saying, give a little balance. Like on this story in the last 48 hours. Just somebody that would come on and say, well, the Coast Guard treatment of these people was, that's something we can debate, and do they overreact, and the pepper spray. We talk about that, but on the other hand, shouldn't we be spending a lot more time talking about this illegal disruption of the whole community and all the stuff that's going on? And shouldn't we be talking about that? As opposed to you spineless cowards on 4, 6, 7, and 10 who interview a couple of people like out in the traffic and let them bellyache for about 10 seconds, and then go back to the rest of your hysterical pandering. You're a disgrace. How can you go home and look in the mirror at night and think that you're doing a job? And just like the people at the Herald, what you don't understand is, which is why the Channel 4 poll came out the way that it did, most of the people that you're pandering to are watching Channel 23 anyway. They don't give a rat's ass about you. You might as well stick it
up the butt.
Right. God. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Yeah, hi.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I just have a question. The bottom line in this whole situation is money. Now, these people here, they come onto my country. They don't understand that I got to pay enough in taxes. Those people...
Okay, thank you for saying crap on the air, by the way. But you're right. You're absolutely right, and too bad you had to say crap in there, because this is America. You can't say crap. Don't you understand? You can go out there and block the traffic off. That's okay, but you can't say crap on the air. It's interesting. Stop and think about that. The guy was using the analogy before about the cops writing tickets at the airport, but they can't get the protesters off the streets. But here's an even better one. You can't say SH on the air because, God forbid, the FCC, a federal government agency, will come down on your ass. But you can go out there and block off all the highways and jeopardize people's lives and screw up everybody's goddamn day. That's okay. That makes a lot of sense, huh?
No.
Yeah. Just think about it for about 4 seconds and see if you don't agree. Here's a mobile in Delray Beach. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Neil, I'm an American, but my parents were from Las Villas, Cuba. And a lot of the Cubans in Miami really don't know the history of Cuba because Cuba has never been free.
Mm-hmm.
I have to laugh at that guy that called and said we haven't had freedom for 40 years.
Yeah.
Because basically...
Yeah, he said they've been under a dictator for 40 years like Batista was Democratic government.
Batista put a coup in 1952. He was an ex-president. And our country recognized his government within 48 hours. So much for elections and so much for freedom, but nobody protested about that.
Yeah.
And that kind of action created what we have there now with Castro. But most of those people have no idea what the Platt Amendment is. And every government that the Cuba has had since its being freed from Spain has been put in by the U.S. government. It's what we call a hip pocket republic. They've never been free. Every dictator has been basically set up by the U.S. government, so they were never free. Never free.
Right.
So I just wanted to point that out because most people aren't even aware of that. I'm sure Miss Ross Layton wouldn't even be aware of that either.
No, she doesn't have time to do her homework. She's too busy pandering.
You know, we've interfered in the internal affairs of Iran, Guatemala, Nicaragua, and that's the kind of situation that develops. You get a favorable government for a while, but then you get a revolution and you get somebody that's really anti-American.
Right.
So that's the situation that's
like the Ayatollah,
in Cuba.
right?
And I think that we should try to end the embargo and try to normalize relationship and maybe even improve the economy down there so they don't have to come over here.
Amen. God bless you, sir.
Yes, sir.
And
Thank
have a
you,
great
Neil.
day.
Bye.
You bet. There you go. Of course, you're not supposed to say that in this town, but nevertheless, what he said made a lot. Oh, not normalization of relations, comunista, company. Yeah, right. Old, tired, and stale. You know, even last year's Hummintosh are fresher than that old line of, oh, comunista, you can't say that, Castro liquor. Yeah, okay. You can, like I said yesterday, you can keep baying at the moon. It's not going to go away, or you can deal with things in a realistic way, and like in the 20th century, which is almost over, but we're not allowed to do that because we just don't want to offend anybody's sensibilities. Here's a mobile in Boca. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Neil, I got to tell you, the sight of Raul Martinez rolling around in the street speaks volumes of the way the Cuban community handled this.
Uh-huh.
This is their leader. This is their elected leader, and I haven't seen anything more embarrassing since.
Well, he never stole a freight train, but anything short of that he did, but never a freight train anyway.
It reminded me of Jeff Van Gundy attached to Alonzo Mourning's leg.
Uh-huh.
I think that the Cuban community has taken what could have been a very good PR situation for them and turned it into a disaster, as they have time and time again.
Right.
And I think they have to get a little bit more sophisticated in their approach to handling these types of situations.
But they're not interested. Don't you understand? Like I said before, it's not a question of sophistication. It's a question of feeling and knowing that the politicians are all on their side, that the media are all terrified to say anything besides whatever their company line is, and they can basically do whatever the hell they want.
Well, it's unfortunate. I know that when the immigrants came to the Northeast, the Italians, the Jews, they assimilated, they learned the language. They were
it's not happening, man. It's not happening, and that's why when you open up the Sun Sentinel in a Broward newspaper this morning, we have to get treated on a day like this, after all the stuff that's gone on, to an article from some bitch that writes a column up in Orlando out of their newspaper, why we speak English when we go out in public, my family. Isn't that great? Or why we speak Spanish when we go out. And have a great day. God. People in the media in this town, man, they must have a factory where they stamp these people out. The mentally disabled, they must just stamp them out. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Just like the hysteria over casinos and all the other. I mean, I just, what kind of people are we talking about? You go to Vegas, I don't know, I mean, the traffic is awful heavy on the Strip. You know how you rent a car and you drive around the side streets, you know how to get up and down the city without having to go out there in the Strip. Pretty congested, but you don't have a bunch of people. I mean, they got the one, what was it, the El Rancho, one of those casinos where they've been picketing for about the last 20 years. And they're marching up and down peacefully in front of the casino with their signs, their picket signs, and nobody pays any attention to them. I think it's the El Rancho, one of those. And that's it. They wouldn't put up with this for 2 seconds. People laying down in the streets and blocking off the traffic. Here's a mobile in West. Thanks so much. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Sounded like the voice of experience to me. Here's a lady in Weston. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Hi. I just really appreciate your addressing this situation and this civil disobedience. I don't understand. We have people that when they do something like this, blocking roads, ambulances can't get through, and specifically it's because I have an invalid mother. She needs to go to an emergency hospital. I have people, nurses, doctors attending her. They need to get to where they need to be. People need to get back from work to take care of their children, and who's going to care about them?
Mm-hmm.
If something happens to my mother and she dies, are these Cubans that are out there displaying, I don't know what kind of frenzy they get into, are they going to care? I doubt it very much.
Yeah.
Is there no one that will make them understand they want
the
freedom, but
part
they're
is
taking...
there is no one in this community who will speak out on behalf of things that make common sense. There is no mayor. There is no commissioner. There's nobody in the police, in any law enforcement agency. There is nobody in the newspapers. There is nobody who will speak out on behalf of common sense and decency and the kinds of things you're talking about. Suppose somebody would have gotten into a big brawl out there on the Causeway or on the Palmetto, and there would have been maybe a shooting or something, which happens here all the time. How in the hell would they have gotten rescue help to those people? How could they have gotten to them?
They wouldn't have. And frankly, if it were me and I needed to get my mother to a hospital and I saw these people doing that, if I had the means of a bulldozer, I'd just bulldoze the cars right off the road.
Exactly.
That is total disregard.
And that's one of the things that we pay people in law enforcement for, by the way, is not going and running prostitution rings in Kendall, but going out there and keeping the highways free from this kind of crap so that we can do whatever the hell we have to do to live our lives, to drive on the roads that we pay for with our tax money.
You know, they talk about compassion. All right, I understand, but you know, my dad, he came from Canada. He came from Canada.
How about them having a little compassion for the rest of us?
Yes, and our freedom is being taken away by the Cubans down there in Miami, and it's not Hispanics. It is specifically, and I've only been here 10 years, but I never had this feeling before. If they're looking for respect, they're not going to get it this way. They should go through the legal system like everybody else has to. They're not special. They don't deserve special treatment.
And they're already getting special treatment, but it isn't good enough. That's the thing that frosts my ass. They're already getting very ultra special treatment, and it still isn't good enough.
Well, Mrs. Bush gets special treatment by coming into the country and not declaring things.
Yeah, well,
if that happens to you and I, we get a little bit of trouble put on us.
Thank God we got good, honest politicians here in Florida. Have a great day, sweetheart.
You too. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
567-0560, pound 560. Yeah, that, you know, we're not supposed to talk about that anymore. That's all swept out of the rug, the Columbo bush crap. And, of course, the thing with, like I said, the prostitution ring in Kendall with all these cops that were going down there banging their brains out, running a hooker ring with a 16-year-old girl in Kendall. Do we hear any more about that?
No.
I'd love to know how the hell that thing got swept under the carpet, and we don't hear one more word about that. And if you people out there were concerned, it's just amazing what a bunch of bozos live in this town. Put up with this garbage. People will be screaming bloody murder. Where's the rest of this story? Where are the names? Why aren't people getting fired left and right? I mean, you know, if you go out and you pick up a 16-year-old girl, forget about prostitution. Just pick her up and have sex if you're an adult. Your ass is going straight to jail. Statutory rape. And if, by the way, you do go out there and pick up a hooker, no matter what her age is, you're going straight to jail. Prostitution. And this town, all our time gets wasted with all this bullcrap. How much time's been wasted in these last 48 hours with a story that, like I said yesterday, in the first place, was much ado about nothing? And if it would have been 6 Haitians, it wouldn't have been on the news for more than 5 seconds. Oh, another boat with a bunch of Haitians being smuggled in was intercepted. They're on their way back. That would have been the end of that. Here's a lady in Miami. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I want to know why you hate the Cuban people.
Ma'am, let me say this. I don't talk to stupid people, okay? I don't have time for you. I don't hate the Cuban people. I don't hate any people. I hate assholes like you, okay? And if you don't understand that normal, reasonable people want to be able to drive on the highways and live their lives without people out there in the middle of the roads every time something displeases them, whether it's some guy who didn't get his rickety boat back or whether it's because the Orioles are playing an exhibition game with a bunch of Cuban athletes, no matter what it is, then you're too stupid for me to have a conversation with you, maybe. A lady. Whatever, maybe lady. Now I'm getting psychotic. Why you hate the Cuban people? Get a life. Start looking at life through somebody else's eyes besides your own little narrow myopic view of the world, okay? Try to understand what it means to live your life. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I do demographic research, and you asked the most important question.
Yes.
What is the population of Cuba?
Yes, sir.
It is 11 million.
Oh, no problem.
Just now, wait a minute. Cuba, Barbados, and Bermuda have the lowest birth rates.
What was the last one? Bermuda?
Yeah, 13.6, 13.8 per thousand.
Yeah.
By 2050,
What about the Netherlands Antilles?
they are also very low.
Yeah.
By 2050, Cuba will be 10.6.
What about St. Thomas?
Huh?
St. Thomas Aquinas?
St. Thomas? No. St. Thomas
Yeah.
is more like
How about,
America.
How about the Virginia Islands?
Virgin Islands?
No, okay, have a great day, sir. All I didn't want the population of every goddamn place in the Caribbean, just Cuba. Thank you, sir. God. And Bermuda, though, was pretty interesting, I thought. Didn't you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Bermuda. Ever get caught in that Bermuda Triangle?
Uh-huh.
So anyway, 11 million people, that should be no problem at all. You know, I mean, we don't want to have nobody down there because then Castro have nothing to do. We'll leave 1 million down there because then we can get some baseball games going on. And we'll bring the other 10 million in here. What do you say? All right. No problem at all. They'll be good down there in Homestead. You know, a lot of people had to move out during the hurricane. Build that back up again in Homestead, Cutler Ridge.
We could drain the Everglades.
Down there in the Ranger, we'll drain out the Everglades. When in doubt, drain it out. And the Everglades, too. That's what I say. Drain it out.
Squirt, squirt.
No problem, 10 million more. Now we can solve this problem once and for all. Then what are these people going to find to be running around in the streets blocking traffic for? We'll find something, okay? Were they running around in the streets blocking traffic when they find out that Xavier Suarez and a bunch of crooks and Bert Hernandez fixed the election? No. I didn't see anybody running around in the streets then blocking traffic, protesting, being all upset that we got fixed elections in this town. When Mayor Penis tries to put a penny sales tax on and this boondoggle, the Metro Rail, I don't see anybody going out in the streets blocking traffic.
No.
Because they're getting taxation without representation, and they're trying to stick an election through in the middle of the summertime on a Thursday, no less. When you start getting excited about the things that should count, then maybe you'll get a little bit of our respect. 4 minutes till noon at 560 WQAM. You want to get yourself a great cigar? I mean, not one that Fidel smokes because, you know, he can do with those. Exactly.
WQAM, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Come and listen to my story about a man named Jeb, whose wallet was as big as his pasty swelled up head. He became a governor and dictator too, simply by having more money than you.
Boy!
Billionaire, that is. Dirty Deal's ex-presidential dad. In a real gubernatorial race, the other goober's name was Buddy McKay. Had an ill-fitting suit and a skeletal head, and when they took his pulse, they discovered he was dead. Brain dead, that is. No brains, a backwoods rube. Now Jeb represents the Christian Reich, but somehow got support from the Jewish Journal Kike. Now they're all in a mass grave, buried very deep, and his wife wears a necklace of the fillings from their teeth. Jewish gold. Melted down, of course.
Boy! The Tallahassee Millionaires. Starring Heinrich Himmler as Jeb Bush, Ava Braun as Columba, Ariana Huffington as Granny, and Dan Burton as General Burkhalter. The Tallahassee Millionaires, brought to you by Zygon 8.
All right, 12:03 at 560 WQM. Happy Thursday to you. July 1st, baby.
Oh!
We're to the second half of 1999. And, God, it's really been, well said. Here's the mobile in Hialeah. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing today?
Okay, sir.
Man, I'm embarrassed. Born in Cuba. I've been here for many years. I see this in the news, and it's like, you know, I have mixed feelings at the beginning, but then even after the fact, the administration approved, for the Coast Guard to bring these guys back, and these thugs, because that's all they are, okay, to continue doing these things, illegal, as you say, roadblocks. It's just very, very embarrassing for us, man. I mean, I don't know, like I was telling George on the phone, man, I'm making a sign as we speak to put on my pickup truck. I'm Cuban, but today I'm embarrassed.
Good for you, man.
It's like I hope, another thing I wanted to bring up, all these other Anglo people that are calling in, please do not generalize and say all Cubans, because just like every race, there's always that 5% or that 10% of thugs and lowlives.
Right.
Please do not generalize that all Cubans are like those people that you saw on the news yesterday. Right. And believe me, Raul Martinez is not my leader, like that guy said 3 or 4 phone calls ago. Okay?
Yeah,
believe
but
me.
he's a big mean mother, though. Better watch out.
Oh, my God. But anyway, hey, thank you for taking my call, man, letting me, give my 2 cents. And all you, just relax, man, relax. Just keep, never mind.
Okay.
Have a good one.
And back to you. Calm down. Just take 2 and call us in the morning. Yeah, Raul Martinez, you better watch out because he'll beat the crap out of you, okay? In fact, that's the motto. No, seriously, haven't you ever seen that? When you drive in a Hialeah and you start talking to somebody and the big voice comes out, shut up before I beat the crap out of you. Yeah, that's Raul Martinez. He usually says it in Espanol, but once in a while, if you have to be in England, Anglo, and you drive through Hialeah, he says, shut up before I beat the crap out of you. Yeah, in fact, when he ran into Hank that day at Hialeah, Raul said, shut up before I beat the crap out of you. All right. That's what we need. That's the kind of mayor we need, baby. Oh! A pugilist. Of course, thank God he ain't got no bad criminal record. 5670560, pound 560 on the Mobile 1 line. Here in South Florida, where we never met a felon that we didn't like. Here's Boca. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you're the best, man.
Yes,
hey,
I am.
I've been listening to you for a long time. Yeah, remember a few months back, you were talking about some issue that you had at your building. 2 guys were coming up the elevator. You were waiting for the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
They're speaking perfect
Right.
English, probably of the Spanish descent. And you got on the elevator and they reverted to Spanish.
Well, correct.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a similar thing happened to me yesterday. That just, that literally frosted my ass. What's
Right.
behind that?
What's behind that is just being rude. That's all. It's like using your language as a weapon. It's obnoxious.
I mean, it's not even like, I understand enough Spanish to know what they're talking about, but that's still, it's just, doesn't make any sense to me.
Correct.
Yeah.
Not if you care about getting along with other people, but when you've got that us against them kind of mentality, like
Right.
we got the town by the balls anyway, so screw everybody else. You don't care about whether you get along with anybody else, and we have a segment of the population that believes that. They feel that way.
Well, what's with that though? I mean, that's
Well, what do you mean what's with that? You're dealing with
Yeah.
assholes, man. Every group has got its assholes, and the people who do that are assholes.
Yeah.
And have a great day.
I agree with you. Can I call someone a douchebag?
Yes, sir.
All right. Eric, you're a douchebag.
Okay.
Thank you.
See ya. I just get worn out trying to explain these things. It's not complicated. It's very simple. People are people. Don't make any difference whether you're Cuban or Jewish or Goyish or Italian or whatever. People are people. Just because you got some artificial label on you doesn't make you anything. But if you want to be antisocial and you want to, use your language as a weapon or your ethnicity as a weapon or whatever else is some kind of a crutch or whatever, go ahead. All you're going to do is piss people off. If everybody woke up tomorrow morning, got out of bed in the morning, all the labels were gone, all the nationalistic labels, all the racial labels, all the ethnic labels were gone, and everybody was just like a human being who happened to live someplace else. Oh, God, there you go. Hallelujah. Virtually every war would stop. All the goddamn religions, no more religions either, okay? That all goes away. No Catholics, no Jews, no Protestants, just people. Wow, what a concept. But anyway, ain't going to happen. Here's a mobile in West Palm Beach. Hello.
Uncle Neil, good afternoon, my friend.
Yes, sir. Buenos dias.
Hey, listen, I want to put a new twist on this and make it from a negative to a positive, and the way I look at it is, if these Cubans want these immigrants in here so bad, instead of lying down, that's chump change.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of lying down, here's what I want. I want to line them up 10, just like at a bowling alley. We'll have the...
Okay, great. 5670560, pound 560. Oh, a little high, left a 10 pin. And pound 560 on the Mobile 1 line. 8 minutes after noon at 560 WQM. Jim Mad Dog Mandich.
Yes!
He's going to be talking about the Cuban national baseball team for 4 hours today. He'll be here from 2 to 6. Oh, they're not going to play those Cubans again, are they?
Uh-huh.
And like I said, you're not supposed to know that on Road Rules on MTV that they made a stop in Havana and they played a bunch of Cuban kids, softball. You're not supposed to know that because we don't want to lose MTV off our cable here in South Florida. Now that we're just finding the Tom Green show and it's starting to get really, really good.
Oh!
Did I mention 1209 at 560 WQM? I think I did.
Shut up and give me your lunch money.
come to my house. Every time you ask to use the toilet, and that's fine. But when you're done, you always leave behind a very special gift to you. I'm surprised. When you got your ass, you can show a little class, and just remember to flush. Well, the liver on the tank is what you pull for a courtesy flush when getting full. But when it's my turn to lift the seat, your lumbering turns out on the seat. You took the dumbbell far and now don't leave me broken hearted. Just remember to flush.
12:13 at 560 WQM. Joe Costello wants to know he's doing the action. For what, about half an hour? No, 29 hours, and he's doing great. Still looks the same. No, but he's going to do it. I'm going to do it too someday. Oh, by the way, Tommy was one of those suckers that bought one of those QAM hats. Did you really pay for that? Oh, thank God. If he paid for that, I would have lost all respect. He'd be almost like on the same level with Donnie B. Almost, but not quite. God. Can you believe? It's just, I still can't believe that. I think you're just all putting me on. This has got to be a joke. That we're working in a radio station that does no promotion whatsoever, no billboards, no TV ads, no newspaper ads, no sandwich board over somebody's back on Lincoln Road Mall, no any kind of promotion, and we finally get a bunch of stuff like this, and the employees are supposed to pay for it? God. I mean, I know we got a lot of people working here who are used to paying for it, but not necessarily that stuff. But good God almighty. I can't even fathom what that's all about. I just never heard of such a concept. Oh, here, you want a QM t-shirt? Great. Oh, that'll be $25, please. And by the way, are they selling these at cost, you think?
No.
No. No, seriously, you got to understand. If we're going to pay Wayne and John Henry, we got to squeeze out every dime we can. Don't you understand? We got to crank that chain 24 hours a day, the money machine, just so Greg's ego can be fed, so we can pay for the rights to all these stupid ball games. See, if he were smart, which he's not, if he were smart, he'd get on the horn with that Tony, whatever that guy's name is, with the 85 syllables, who's going to put that laughing on 1700, say, hey, guess what? You want all of the franchises? You got them. The Dolphins, the Marlins, the Panthers, you got them all. Of course, you'll have to pay the franchise broadcast fees, but that's okay. It's only $35 million, like $7 million a year. And then you have any real? We'd be rolling in money in this place. They'd be giving those things out by the dozen. Here's a couple of dozen shirts. Here's a couple dozen hats. Give them out to your friends. We'd be rolling in money. The morning show, making money up the old ass. This show, sold out for how many goddamn months in a row now? For like about a year at least. We're bringing in money
up the butt
in this place. Hank Goldberg show, making serious bucks in the afternoon from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. This place is a freaking money machine. It's a gold mine. But we got to work 28 hours a day to make the money to pay a couple of billionaires who got more money than Jesus and Joseph and Saul put together. John Henry and that freaking bald-headed Wayne, who just fired his partner, by the way, because AutoNation stock is in the old toilet. So there you go. When Wayne gets pissed off, everybody gets fired. Bald-headed geek. Here's Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Hey there, Neil. How you doing today?
Great.
And Greg Reed is a cheap asshole.
Oh, man, he's unbelievable. Him and the Beasleys.
The worst. I just wanted to try to put this thing to rest if I could.
Go right ahead.
Thank you, sir. The problem, one of the main problems is that these people, when they stop feeling, let me see if I can get this clear, when they stop believing that they're the center of the universe, then maybe we'll get someplace.
Mm-hmm.
And to that asshole that called you about 30 minutes ago, Cuba has been under a dictator for 40 years.
Yeah.
I have something to say to him. You ready? Te cogiste el culo con la puerta, mojón. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. 567-0560, pound 560 on the Mobile One line. So what are they really trying to say? My favorite call of the year was that woman that called me, that old, pathetic, stereotypical. Why do you hate the Cuban people? Why? I mean, what kind of? It's always the feeble. It sounds just like your mother. Just like your mother.
That's what she sounds like, too.
Why are you picking on me? Why are you doing these things to me? Seriously. You know what it reminds me of? Speaking of that, it reminds me of The Exorcist.
Dime, why you do this to me?
Yeah, right? There you go. Why you hate the Cuban people? Because I don't think that you ought to be out in the streets blocking everybody off. I don't hate the Cuban people, just assholes that do that stuff, okay, lady? I know it's a little bit too tough for you to comprehend. Maybe somebody can explain it to you. Draw you a diaphragm. Fort Lauderdale, hello.
Oh, God, Neil. You got me so depressed I'm thinking about laying down in traffic myself.
All right. Well, you know something? There's not much going on this summer here. It's pretty dead, so let's just all go out and play in traffic.
You know, I'm born and raised in Miami, and I'm a native, and I spent about 8 years in the Coast Guard, and, you know, so I've lived with this thing pretty much my entire life.
Right.
And the thing that, you know, a lot of people don't, they wave this political refugee thing around all over the place, and what a lot of people don't realize is that most of these people are not political refugees. They're economic refugees.
Right. Just like the Haitians.
Right. They're coming here looking for a better job, more money. They're not fleeing political persecution. They're coming here because they're looking for more money.
Like the one guy that came here was already here in Arizona and didn't make out the first time, went back to Cuba, didn't do too good, so he came back for another shot at it in hopes that it'll be lovelier the second time around.
But these people are fanatical. You know, it's pretty much along the same line as talking to the pro-lifers. I mean, you just can't. It's like beating a dead horse. You just can't. You can't get through to them.
No, because they're one-dimensional. I mean, this is the only thing that they're focused on. They got blinders on. They're oblivious to anything else that might be going on in the world, and they assume that everybody else, that's all they care about too. And guess what? We don't.
I tell you, it's aggravating when you mentioned before about, you know, not having a voice for, you know, I'm a non-Hispanic white. And we don't really have a voice anymore in King County. I mean, if you're a white guy like me, you're basically, you know, you don't count, and nobody cares, and all they want to talk about is Fidel and whatever the latest fanatical craze that's going on, and they're consumed by it. You
and
know?
Those goddamn Orioles, boy, I think God's going to get them. No wonder they're losing all those games.
Yeah, well, they can all kiss my non-Hispanic white butt. Oh!
Okay, sir.
See you later.
God bless you. Yeah, he said you can kiss his rectum on both cheeks, okay, is what he said. 567-0560, pound 5. You know, why do you hate the Cuban people? Oh, shit, I'll never forget her as long as I live.
Dime, why you do this to me?
Yeah. Oh, it was just unbelievable. Oh, yeah. That's what we should have had the last 48 hours playing nonstop on this radio station. Maybe this town needs a gigantic, either an enema or an exorcism. Oh! Yeah. That's what we could use. A big freaking exorcism. Although we don't want too many priests coming down to this town with all the Catholics we got running around on the loose. Oh, boy. And by the way, for the guy before that wants to know how I like my Hispanics, I'll send him a picture. Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Great.
This for that old bitch. Neely, why you do this to me? Hey.
She was great. Why you hate the Cuban people?
Why you hate me?
Yeah.
I got a question for you.
She's okay, that old bitch.
That
yes,
old
sir.
Cuban bitch.
Right.
I think there's about 10 million to 12 million, approximately, million people on the island of Cuba.
Somebody said 11, so that's like
11?
between 10 and 12. Good guess.
Okay.
Somebody who was a real cunnilinguist before called.
And in Dade County, what would you say? Like 1 million people?
2 million.
1 million? 2 million?
1.2 million Cubans.
That's too many already. But
oh, yeah.
Wouldn't you say that at least 70% of the Cubans themselves were stuck in traffic?
Yeah, of course.
Can you believe that?
Yes.
So they were doing it to themselves.
That's you know what that's like? That's like when the blacks riot and they burn up their own neighborhoods.
What kind of crap is that?
It's the same kind of thing.
What kind of crap is that?
Right.
Yeah. Can I say something to local thugs up there in Hialeah?
Yes, sir.
Thank God I moved out of there and went to Pembroke Pines. I want to say something to them.
Go ahead.
Arráscame los huevos, you douchebags.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay. All right. Now we're getting the good stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, don't get upset. Anybody doesn't understand it. All it means is...
Dime, why you do this to me?
Yeah, that's all it means. 567-0560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Here in a place that God has just forgotten about, okay? Thank God that...
Oh, God!
Can't forget, even if I wanted to. So Peter Leonard's on the way back with my glasses, and he went to where? To Lens Crafters. Thank you, people at Lens Crafters, for being there. And I bet you, without asking, I bet you the guy that you left a message on his machine never called you back.
Oh, no, he did call back.
Oh, did he?
10:30.
10:30. Well, that's not a bad time to, crawl into the office. Open up the door 10:30 in the morning?
Well, he probably had to check his voicemail, but, change the sign from closed to open.
Yeah, but you were calling him for like 20 minutes there, and there was no answer. And what did he say? Did you just say no thanks? But
I said no thanks. We'd already dispatched our.
But at least we know that he's there, and every now and then he opens up before noon. That's good, just in case there's another eyeglass emergency. But glasses are a pain in the ass. But don't ever try to sell me on contacts. Oh, hate them. I mean, if you're real vain, I know some people like that are very vain, don't like glasses because they think it makes them look older. In my case, what difference does it make? Is it going to make a difference?
No.
Is there any hope?
No.
So that's it. So let me tell you about the kind of the way I like my Hispanics. Here's Miami. Hello.
Yo, God.
Yes, sir. Speaking.
Hey, what's happening? Listen,
too
I like
much,
to
pal.
say a couple things, and I love your show, number one. But you know something, man? When you protest like that, I thought it was required to have a permit to protest in this country. Most people need a permit to protest it, like the helmet laws for the Harley people, or the Haitians, or anybody.
Mm-hmm.
What is the big deal?
And not only that, but when they do have a demonstration, in fact, the police over there on the beach said this is the first time that one of these has ever happened where the leaders of the demonstration didn't coordinate their activities with the police so that there could be some cooperation, so that they could, be prepared for it, so they could divert traffic or alert people not to go. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely
so absolutely
correct,
no consideration for anybody else. The Spanish language radio stations get on the air. They whip these people up into a frenzy. They do totally irresponsible things. They create civil disobedience, and the government doesn't do anything to them.
And what
for
about,
the life of me, I don't understand that.
Absolutely, Neil. And what about flying American flags? These people are in the United States of America.
And not only that, here it is, the 4th of July holiday weekend coming, and we got to be treated to all these communist flags being waved on our face while you're stuck in traffic for 5 hours.
Can you imagine that? And people lost their airplane tickets, their airplane reservations.
Right.
A lot of people, like you said, having babies earlier this morning.
Right.
Neil, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, and a lot of talk about...
And it's only a miracle. It's only just thanks to a coincidence, a miracle, that none of these things happened, that nobody died or there wasn't somebody grotesque.
It is a miracle.
Right.
Not only that, a lot of talk about Castro's agents being put here. This is all Castro's problem. This is all Castro's putting people in here in this country to mess up our society, being Americans. Look at any neighborhood, bars on the windows and things like that. Come on, Neil.
Well, that Castro sure is smart.
Oh, thank God nobody's getting carried away. That's what I say. I just am sick and tired of the whole bunch of crap. I've been through 20 years of this swill, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. Every time you think you make a little bit of progress, you take a half a step forward and 45 steps backward. Every time this young guy. And by the way, I heard the beginning of Hank's show yesterday. I wish maybe we'll someday get the first call off of his show. The guy that said that Mayor Penis looks like a faggot. And Hank said, oh, yeah, he kind of, I realize Hank isn't here today. He's on his way out to Vegas. I hope he has a great time. But it's real easy for the jock mentality, like on a morning show and certain other shows, to get involved in this homophobic crap. I'll be the one that calls the faggots, okay? Let a spade call a spade, however that old saying goes. Yeah, I heard your call, you jackass. And Hank had to think about it for a few seconds before I guess he decided to embark to launch. Hey, he does look kind of, oh yeah, we know what those faggots look like, right? Maricon. Yeah, let's get back into that again, too, while you're at it. Why you don't like us old Cuban Americanos? So anyway, we got an 82-part series on old Cuban trolls that George is going to be doing starting next week. 26 past noon at 560 WQM. Are you selling your home? Maybe looking to buy one? Maybe you're moving out of Dade. Oh, what a bad idea. Come on, somebody's got to stay there.
Father, you helping all over, boy. I'm a Catholic.
When the bombs explode over every U.S. town, righteous sun fills tombstones. Lenny was spread as a monkey's ass, and his brain was in his bones. Clinton thought it was a game, selling secrets to get fame.
We are all for Bill Clinton.
Well, you're talking about China Doe. Whoa, China Doe.
Call me $50.
His campaign was funded by the commies and trade for the land to make some loot. The traders stole the stock, never lied a career of screwing on side. Now we're not safe from the red army state. Clinton don't seem to care. Hail to the coward in chief.
Oh, no.
Talking about the China dough. Whoa, China dough.
Oh, I got a fax here that I would waste your time reading to you because it just is entertaining from Juan. Juan, your fax either amuses or depresses me. It's hysterical. He says, along all the other condemning me and the callers and everybody else, as far as Cubans going back to Cuba after Castro, that's absurd. Cubans have already been uprooted once in a lifetime. Why would the Cubans that have successful business in Florida, lawyers, doctors, and engineers, be uprooted again? So if that's the case and they're successful here, what's the problem? Oh, I'm sorry. Viva Cuba Libre! Viva! Well, why? What difference does it make? Just take a few more relatives out if there's any left there, which I doubt there can be too many, and that's it. You'll love it in North Dakota. Here's one that says, I was born in Cuba 40 years ago. At age 12, my parents were granted a leave and we left the island, establishing residence in Madrid, Spain. We struggled for 4 years, not only to make a living, but working toward obtaining a visa to leave Spain and reach the U.S. The original goal behind my family's decision to leave their entire families just to get me, their only son, out of Castro's Cuba and onto the land of opportunity. We eventually arrived in the U.S. in 1977. The conclusion to a long and painful struggle, but a legal struggle to achieve our original goals, live and prosper in the U.S. just to gain freedom. My parents sacrificed everything, their homes and families, to gain my freedom, and they did it legally. Not by swimming here, taking a raft, or hiring an agent. Regretfully, I believe most of my Cuban compadres have forgotten their own roots and their own reasons for leaving the island. We left seeking freedom while condemning dictatorship. But once here, our payback to the country that opened the doors to so many of us is our adopted version of insolence, dictatorship, and defiance. It's embarrassing and simply intolerable to see people force their way of thinking onto a community that has given us the opportunity to something a great deal of people around the world would die for. Freedom, like a spoiled child that it says freedom with an exclamation, like a spoiled child that didn't get their way. An embarrassing day for those of us of Cuban descent, it says. Oh! There you go. Thank you, sir, whoever wrote this. Mariel. Didn't read the last part of that too well because the punctuation kind of like tailed off. But I understand. Yes, sir. How you doing, amigo? There's our Culligan man. Got some good water for us today, which I think there's something extra in it. 567-0560, pound 560 on the Mobile One line. Yep. Want to try to keep imposing and inflicting and making excuses. The fact is, we got a lot of bigots out there. We got people that hate Cubans and Jews and fags and this one. You know, that's blacks. But that's not what we're talking about here. Why you hate the Cuban people? I mean, when I hear such stuff, it's just so pathetic. And again, you're not fooling me because I've been through this. I've been around the block with this crap too many times before. It's just a cover-up for the fact that you don't want to. And it wasn't 800 people, by the way, Juan. It was thousands of people. It was more than 900 in one spot, more than 1,000 over there in another spot. I would say like about 3,000 is what it was, which of course doesn't represent 1.2 or 3 million people. That is correct, but still, it's too many. And too much silence going on. And all the Cuban politicians, by the way, singing the same tune. Nobody's saying, hey, this isn't the way to get our things done, and nobody condemning the fact that all the rest of the town is just being held up. And once again, internationally, we're being made to look like the banana republic that we are. But again, why should anybody care about that? Because nobody cares about this place anyway. How are those Junior Olympics coming, by the way, the Pan Am Games? Oh! Here's Miami Beach. Hello.
Hi, Neil. Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Last minute report from Radio Mambi.
Radio Mambi?
Radio Mambi.
See?
Saturday morning, they're going to have a protest, a massive protest.
Oy!
In Southwest 8th Street and 13th Avenue. Now, this is a protest to celebrate our victory in MacArthur Causeway.
So how can that be a protest?
Well, you tell me. This is crazy. Now, talking in serious, let me tell you. This is not accidental. This is a well-planned situation to gain more control of this South Florida.
Yeah.
They are very worried because there have been serious talk after many years of confrontation between the United States and Cuba, and that makes the ultra right wing elements in the Cuban community very worried.
Mm-hmm.
But what they're trying to do now is again to continue the same confrontation of for many years we have had with them. This is not a joke. These people were dropped. These people came from the Bahamas because no way that they could get up to 84th and Culling in that kind of of a small little rickety boat. So I can tell you, this is something for the authorities to worry. The Cubans in this community are not different than any other people in the United States. What happened is they take what they have given them and more. And if you're going to blame somebody, don't blame these ultra right-wing fanatics. They are like a bunch of cow following a leader. It's the politicians and the authorities in this community,
and the
including
media. And the media.
And the Cuban media, of course.
No, and then the English language media, the
the
newspapers and the TV stations.
Most of what they do, they bitch about, but they don't do anything about. The Herald is probably in this moment the leader of all of these things because they're playing into their hand, trying to get power, trying to share the power with the politician, the Cuban politician, which they never did before. They used to confront and act like a normal United States newspaper, a respected paper. Today, what they are trying to do, because they find that that's the best way to have power in this community, is to share that power with the Cuban politician. So maybe somebody in this community will awake to what is happening, because what is happening is very, very serious.
Okay, amigo. See ya.
Bye.
567-0560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Thank you so much to Peter Leonard, and thanks to the people at Lenscrafters for coming through for me. These glasses are great now. They put a stud in there. Nothing like going on vacation with a stud. Oh, he's not going? Here's a fax, by the way, that says, I understand you're having a problem with your eyeglasses. My name is Dave Field. I'm district manager for Four Eyes Optical Company. I'm dispatching one of my staff to the radio station with why is he doing that? What time did this come over? 10:22 in the morning? Well, I guess he must never gotten here. I hope he don't come here, because I already got he must have heard me talking about him. Thank you so much, Dave, and next time we'll take you up on it, okay? In fact, I'm going to save this thing. The guy from the Lauderhill store was on his way here, but he must have heard that we already sent Peter Leonard on the way to do the job. Thank you, Dave, from Four Eyes.
Nobody repulses you more.
All right. Now the Pope depends on you and the powers you possess. Since you saved his life with his flying scissor knife, he's got a job for you to do. You have a brand new style too. We love the way you flop your dues. With the big C on your chest and bulletproof in tight dress, the bending goes to our old Who's with the speed of a gazelle, sends the bad guy straight to hell. When a building starts to blow, with your limits then we know you're crushing crime with one mighty blow. Increíble.
Charlie on a mobile. You're on WQAM. Hello.
How you doing, Hank?
Hey.
Man, I'm disgusted too. I'm Cuban American. I'm disgusted by Mayor Pinellas, number one.
Oh, what an asshole that guy
little
is.
fag. And he's just
What did you call him?
I don't want to repeat it.
No, go ahead. I didn't hear it.
He's a little fag. He's a little fag is what he is.
Is he?
And he looks like one. I mean, he wants to be on
He is a little bit
time,
swishy, I guess.
That damn faggot. I can't stand him.
Yeah, he's a little swishy, I guess, because, all those Metaconics, they're all a little swishy. Nice going there, Hammer. Yeah. He's been suspended. He won't be on today. What? Oh, he's been suspended for making that homophobic remark. Jim Manich will be on for the suspended Hank Goldberg at 2 today. Here's a fax from Luis, by the way, that says, I would like to start by saying I enjoy your show. Always agree on all your views on certain topics.
Oh, God!
Especially on this Cuban parade of bull. I thank you for mentioning earlier that you as a non-Hispanic don't generalize us Hispanics with Cubans. Here you go, George. because I'm not Cuban, is that I was as pissed off as everybody else because I was stuck in that traffic. I don't want to be classified together with those other spics. Thanks, Neil, and keep up the good show. And by the way, how come you don't like the Cuban people? No, I just added that on. I just added that on, Luis, because I thought it was most amusing. So George made a good point here several times over these last 25 years, and that is that the Mexicans hate the Puerto Ricans, and the Puerto Ricans hate the Colombians, and the Venezuelans hate the Peruvians, and everybody hates the Cubans because they keep doing these things, and if they would stop, we'd all like them a lot better. Isn't that how that song by Tom Lear goes? 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. There's another good one for Boca Brian, by the way. The Vatican fag. Or is that national, whatever it is. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Since you're talking about the truth so much, why don't you say what you did with Bob Lincoln that you ripped off in the Vegas trip?
Ripped off? Who got ripped off?
The public. You put us
Did you go on the trip?
Yes, I did go.
Yeah, and how come now? How many years ago was that, sir?
It was like a couple of years already.
No, it wasn't a couple of years. The last trip we did with Bob Lincoln was like 5 years ago.
Right.
And
the thing is,
and how come you're waiting until 5 years later to launch a complaint? I didn't have any complaint.
Like you said, nobody had the guts to come out and said it.
And come out and said it?
And said it.
And said what?
Said about the hotel. That was the worst hotel. If I invite you to Miami, am I going to put you in Overtown? I'm going to put you in the best
The Imperial
hotel.
Palace is the worst hotel in Las Vegas? We didn't have any problems there.
One of the worst ones.
No, it is not. No, it is absolutely not. The Imperial Palace is fine. It's not one of the most fancy schmancy or brand new. There was nothing. In addition to which, how come you're waiting until now because you've got some ethnic chip on your shoulder to complain about a trip to Las Vegas with Bob Lincoln, which I don't want to hear your bull crap, okay, asshole? See, don't deal with the issues. Attack me now. That's right. Attack me. Oh, it was a terrible trip. So don't go again, okay, asshole? And you probably still had a great time. And by the way, when we went back, did we go to the Imperial Palace? No. We went to the MGM.
What does that have to do with blocking traffic?
It has nothing to do with anything. Don't you understand? Like I said, he has no response, so attack me. Attack the messenger because he can't respond because, like I said before, it's not rocket science. It's very simple common sense. So he's a professional Cuban, so therefore he's just like the old lady, but with it, at least she came right out with it. Neil, why don't you like the Cuban people? At least she come right out with it, okay? This guy, he's got to go through Bob Lincoln. And by the way, did I attack Bob Lincoln on the air 50 million times for this? 8 billion times? And we don't see him anymore, by the way, since he tried to palm me off on that seminar with Bob Atkins and that Julian Whitaker guy. I didn't say the right things on that. I don't see no Bob Lincoln anymore with those vitamins and with those travel books, and we'll survive without him. I was the one that complained. How does this guy think I felt after nearly having a nervous breakdown with Bob Lincoln and those 2 nightmare trips to Vegas? That second year standing there looking for the plane and I was sitting there on the other side of the runway. Oh, well, somebody didn't pay the gate fees while Bob's on the phone setting up his son's wedding in Vegas. And I'm the one that everybody's coming to. Neil, and of course, did we get any support from the radio station?
No.
From Bob Green, your good friend?
No.
No. From Mick Alpo?
No.
Anybody? Of course not. Because they weren't making a lot of money on the deal, so screw Neil. He wanted this deal and screw him. And then, of course, we had the Steve Nickel deal with your good close personal friend Rocky Renteria, whatever her name was. Rocky Road. What was her name?
Ruttenberg.
Rocky Ruttenberg. How could I forget?
You're not promoting this enough, goddammit.
Are you spending any money on it?
No.
No, we're giving you $50 million worth of free promotion, bitch.
You're not promoting it enough. I was told by Steve Nickel.
So anyway, have a good time in Vegas, sir. And I don't go to the Imperial Palace anymore, but it's not that bad. It's a great location, right next to Ethel M. Huh?
I hate the Imperial Palace.
And so do I. I don't stay there. But I'm not saying it's a great location. I'm not saying I would
the
stay
location's great.
In addition to which, had we ever been in the Imperial Palace before?
No.
So what the hell did I know? So if you want to make a complaint, I'm sure you'll find Bob Lincoln in the phone book. And if you do find him, by the way, let us know. Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil, how you doing?
Okay, sir.
Listen, I have a question. I don't understand why these Cuban people feel that we owe them anything.
Do you hate the Cuban people?
I don't hate the Cuban people. What I don't understand is that I pay enough in taxes.
Yeah.
And these people, to live in this country is a privilege.
Yeah.
What we did out on the coastline, we protect our country. We don't need any more people coming into this country.
That is
we have
absolutely correct.
255
We can't take care of the
us.
260 million people we got already, and we need more people coming up on shore and demanding to be here.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this. What's going to happen when the Cubans, Castro dies, and he may have already been dead for a few years. They may just be rerunning those videotapes.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, what happens when they do die? It clicks in their heads that, wait a second, the party's over. 10 million people are going to float onto our shoreline. That was an example the other day. What we're going to do with 6. What are we going to do with 10 million?
Yeah, no, I think what we're going to have is about 500,000 swimming back.
500,000. We need to push them all back.
Okay, thank you. There you go. 5, see, there you go. You get people pissed off, and right away they say, okay, don't let the door slam you in the ass on the way out. 567-0560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. Yeah, but these people are saying, well, they're saying these things because they're emotional too, and they get pissed off, and that's the kind of hatred you engender when you do these kinds of unacceptable things for no good reason whatsoever. It's not acceptable. I don't care whether the people on Channel 4 or Channel 6 or Channel 7 or 10 or the goddamn Herald or the Sun Sentinel. I don't care what they tell you. Because I know they're just pandering. I could come on here and suck around too and put on this big act. Oh, this was so courageous. It was another smuggling routine is what it was. That's all it was. There were 6 people smuggled in, and the Spanish language media got on there, and every politician that could get his teeth into it and get a piece of this act, and sucked it, bled it dry for every ounce they could squeeze out of it. And that's the deal, you see. And it is only a small fraction of the Cuban population of this town, but they know that every time they want to whip up their troops, they can get at least a guaranteed number of people, a few thousand every time, to go out there and to act like a bunch of crazy people and do whatever the hell they want. They know that. Radio Mambi and Radio La Parosa, all these other piece of crap stations that do nothing but keep singing the same goddamn song 24 hours a day. Do help it, the same old tired crap. Just put it on a goddamn record already. Let Gloria Estefan sing it. Then put it on the new planet. Here's a mobile in the Gables. Hello.
Yeah, how you doing, Neil?
Okay, sir.
Listen, Neil, I'm going to start a starting to hate other Cubans here in a club in Miami.
All right.
Neil, I moved here.
George says he'll join.
62. I moved to New Jersey.
JP's thinking about it if Mama approves.
I was raised by a beautiful, generous American couple and consider myself Cuban American. I wear American flag T-shirts and all this business. This shit has got me so pissed off that, I mean, hunger strike, but stopping traffic is not the way to get people on your side.
Yeah.
And if I see you in my lane and I'm going to get late or doing something, I'm going to instantly try not to have brake trouble, but I think I might develop some brake trouble real quick.
There you go.
So hopefully, and another thing is that guy that said Raul Martinez is my leader. Willie Clinton, I mean, give me a break. Willie Clinton is my leader. I mean, who would you rather have? Somebody that makes cigars or somebody that smokes cigars and uses it for something else and then gets a little at the same time.
Okay, God bless you, sir.
Thank you,
I'll
Neil.
see you next. By the way, I forgot to mention this again, so maybe they either had nobody show up there or they had a few people show up, or one or the other, but they didn't bug us for another thing on this.
Oh, yeah, they did bug us about it. I forgot.
Oh. Did they have anybody show up? I'm sure
I
not.
don't know.
Huh? The QAM van is at the Amoco gas station, 21005 Biscayne Boulevard, North Miami Beach right now. It says till 1 o'clock, but if they're smart, they probably left. Lots of QAM goodies and Wild Wild West movie stuff. And maybe if you're lucky, they'll let you buy some of those QAM T-shirts and hats that they're selling to the employees here at QAM.
Oh!
At a discounted rate. Like $50 a pop. I mean, that is something I'm going to take with me on my vacation and think about for hours and hours. They are selling station promotional things to the people who work here. Only the measly Beasleys and Greg Reed could possibly ever come up with a scam like this. It wasn't enough that we got that frantic fax from that poor schlepper up in Philadelphia who can't even put a loaf of bread on the table for his family because they owe him the $75 since before Jesus was a baby who, did a stringing job on the Marlins-Phillies games up there 85 months ago, screaming, begging for his money. That wasn't bad enough. But now they're selling stuff to the people who work. Who ever heard of working in a place where they sell you anything? Who ever heard of such a thing? In fact, maybe we can have the QAM commissary. How does that sound?
The company store.
The company frickin' store. And there you go. Maybe we could pay John Harry someday. Yeah, if we just open a QAM company store. You want some water? Yeah. She can have the water concession, the water Nazi. You want some water? That'll cost you $2. For a thimbleful, of course. Oh. It's unreal. Mobile and Kendall, hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Neil?
I'm doing okay.
All right. As an American of Cuban origin, I must say I'm appalled and disgusted at the display of ignorance and arrogance by a vocal minority of Cubans in this community. And I hope the rest of the South Florida community doesn't generalize and think
Well,
that...
but I don't, but I mean, it's hard to do that because these people are very visible, and these weren't just the old usual people that we see clamoring and carrying on. These, unfortunately, for whatever reason, were mostly young and middle-aged people, a lot of young people, and I mean, what the hell is that all about?
Well, the sad thing is that most of the young people are recent arrivals, and the fact is that they come here...
I'm not so sure about that. I think a lot of these people were born here.
Well, again, most of these recent arrivals, like these guys that just showed up, they're making them out to be heroes. You don't know who they are.
Right.
And a lot of them come here crying political persecution, applying for political asylum. And, Neil, I know many of them who, as soon as they get their green card, they go back to Cuba to spend dollars and have fun and bring mamacita, the new refrigerator, whatever. So they are not political refugees. They're economical migrants.
Right. No question about it.
Okay, and so you have, and the main culprits are, like you said, the Spanish stations, QBA, MAMB, that whip up all these simple-minded fools into a frenzy, and that has been their gimmick for the past 30 years.
Yeah,
you know?
that's how they stay on the air. That's how they stay in business.
When you kick an anthill and feel the ants running around, that's how they want to keep all these people, whipped up into a frenzy.
Right.
And secondly, the spineless politicians we have. When I heard Panella say on television that, well, people have a right to vent their frustration and protest in front of the MacArthur Causeway, I'm going to say, Mayor Pinellas, you are wrong. People have a right to organize protests, but they don't have a right to disrupt the free flow of traffic for the rest of us.
Right.
Okay,
pal. Have a great day.
So 1 to 2 hours.
All right.
OJ got away with murdering his woman and her white and Jewish friend. Boy! Now we hear him say he's thinking about moving to Miami where he thinks he'll blend in. Go back! Go back! Go back to hell where you belong. Go back! Go back! Go back to hell where you belong. Go back, OJ.
We be going to a next door on Super Talk Radio.
Get off the air, you murdering asshole!
What'd you say to me, you white motherfucker? I killed your ass. I've been stabbing your white ass. It wouldn't be the first time I got away with it.
Go back! Go back to where you belong. Go back! Go back, you murdering asshole.
I'd like to thank everybody for welcoming me to that neighborhood.
Except those people in Cocoa Plum, by the way, who all said,
no.
Get the hell out, okay? Don't come here, don't even think about it, because the answer is
no.
No matter what the question is, the answer is
no.
Okay. 103 at 560 WQM. Got my glasses back. I can see clearly now. Too bad we don't have Johnny Nash. Don't we want to play that song? No, you'll probably hear it, though, on that new 103.5, now that Paxton and Clear Channel butchered up she and turned it into the piece of crap. They just added a couple letters after the SH. What'd it be, huh? Here's Hialeah. Hello. Hialeah.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm sick and tired of what's going on with these Cubans blocking the highway. This is so ridiculous. It's embarrassing for us, the Cubans, because we got some, a few decent Cubans out there. But I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, well, we're going to do that starting tomorrow. We're going to find out where the decent Cuban. All the decent Cubans, please raise their hands, okay? And George, forget about it because you got the bag over your head. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. When I go on vacation, by the way, George Montana is going to be filling in this time. Or is that Montagna? Oh, that's right. It's Italian. I forgot.
Knowing you.
Here's a Lady Mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, sorry. Let me get you off the speakerphone. Are you there?
I'm here. Are you there?
Okay. Yeah, I have a protest.
Go right ahead.
I spent $120,000 on my education at the University of Miami.
Right.
I can't get a job because I can't speak Spanish.
Right.
So I sit here right now talking to you, stuffing envelopes.
Uh-huh.
So I want to get all the recent graduates to meet me down on Biscayne Boulevard in US 1, and we're going to block some traffic.
Okay.
All righty?
Okay, sweetheart.
All right, thank you.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Poor baby. Of course, the problem was she spent all that money at the University of Miami. Anybody ever get an education there?
No.
But she didn't understand that. Too late now. Sounded very articulate and very nice to me. The problem is no spigot upon him, man, and she's out. She's out. Well, too bad. Oh, yeah, we've heard that before. We've heard it before, and all the alienation and all the hostile attitudes, and can't we just get along, like Rodney King said. Can't we just get along? Like most of the law enforcement officers in South Florida are saying, can't we just get along at that hot young chick's house? Going to hear any more about that story, you think, pretty soon?
No.
I doubt it. They got up to the big old South Florida broom and swept that baby right under the covers. Here's a mobile in Miami Lakes. Hello?
Neil,
Yes, sir.
I love how these Cubans call up whining saying, please don't generalize. It's not all Cuban. But they be the first one to generalize. Like from Georgia to that old lady that called you, they be saying, oh, those Anglos, those Negros, those Nicaraguans.
Those Jews.
Not that I'm generalizing.
Those faggots,
like that,
right.
but I hate them all, just the same.
Mm-hmm.
Send them all back.
Okay, whatever you say. I'm not. Did anybody understand what he said?
No.
He said send everybody back.
Where's he
Except
from?
Hunger. 5670560. Don't start getting antsy with this guy. He had a point to make. I'm not sure that did I get it? No, but somewhere along the line there, eventually, if I would have left him on a couple hours, he might have made a point. What he was trying to say was that the same people that are saying don't generalize about the Cubans, they would be very quick to generalize about other ethnic minority groups, and in some cases he might have a point. Except, of course, the old lady who said, why you hate the Cuban people? Oh, I'm telling you, that just reverberates. It's like sweet music in my ears, just the sound of that lady. She was, just like every now and then you get a call from a real stereotypical New Yorker who sounds like a stereotypical New Yorker. I mean, just fits the role perfectly. And she was just to a T. Just like Molly Goldberg was the old Jewish grandmas, this lady was the old mamacitas. It was perfect. Why you hate the Cuban people? Here's a lady in Pompano Beach. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. I really don't like what you're saying about the Cubans.
Which is what? What am I?
You know what the problem
What am I
is?
saying about the
you
Cubans?
know what the
man?
problem
What am
is?
I saying about the Cubans?
Well, you're allowing all these people to call and insult us, okay?
What do you mean by that? I'm allowing everybody, no matter what their viewpoint is, to call in and say what they think. And if they get too obnoxious, I cut them off. Is that okay or not? Or should I let? Oh, and she hangs up the phone. She hangs up the phone. We've had Cubans call in. We've had rednecks. We've had non-Cuban Hispanics. We've had every kind of person under the sun calling today. People are whipped up and pissed off about this. And she's upset that I'm allowing them to say it because, it is only American. People are supposed to say. And we've had plenty of calls that didn't make it on the air, sweetheart, because they were too obnoxious, that I dumped and didn't make it to the light of day. And I'm giving you the opportunity here to say your piece. And as soon as I say the slightest thing that you don't want to listen to, click. Well, guess what, okay? Have a great life. Have a real great life, because obviously you must be busy taking it up the butt. 8 minutes after 1. Well, she's probably got a big fat rectum. Not that we want to stereotype, or generalize. But we hear about that up the butt stuff all the time in that particular part of town where she's from. 8 minutes after 1 on that side of the railroad tracks. Not that we want to generalize. Don't keep stuff.
Water. 14 feet above the keel in 10 minutes.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
In a 4P, in all 3 holds, and in boiler room 6.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit drinking.
When can we get underway, damn it?
Get that finger out of your ear. You don't know where that finger's been.
That's 5 compartments, and it looks like a big Tylenol. She can say afloat, with the first 4 compartments breached, but not 5.
It's Barbara Stanwyck.
Not 5.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines.
The water will spill over the tops of the bulkheads. There's no stopping it.
Here, Turner, there's a fire in the barn.
From this moment, no matter what we do.
Near John, big tree.
Titanic will founder.
I just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you.
I believe you may get your headlines, Miss Leslie. There's a sale at Penny's.
Jack, I want you to draw me like one of your French girls, wearing this.
Where did you get that dress? It's awful, and those shoes and that coat. Gee.
113 at 560 WQM. We got the Mad Dog, Jim. All right. Mandage at 2 o'clock. Hank's on his way to Vegas. He'll be on vacation, but he will be on air from Vegas tomorrow, plunging his brains out. And I'm sure telling you he's winning a lot of money, whether he is or not. Here's Kendall. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Oh, how you doing?
Pretty good.
I think you make a good point. I think we should all forget about the labels about as far as being black and white or Hispanic and just try to be Americans and try to be the best
No,
we
not
can
even
be.
American, just be people.
Exactly. But you got to remember, too, now, where do we go from here? I mean, because we got our politicians who, I don't know, I'm not trying to say they're good and bad, but
They suck. How's that?
well, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but it seems as though to me
Well, what do you mean I'm entitled to my opinion? You think our politicians are doing a good job? You think they're doing things that bring the community together?
No, I don't think that. But who can you blame? I mean, our government allows these things to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing that we do...
Isn't our government composed of the politicians that you just said you don't have an opinion on one way or the other?
Well, I got an opinion, but you know,
Is the
I'm
government
not...
just some like an inanimate object, or is it made up of people?
Yes, it's made up of people, but you have to remember too that you know it's up to our government to make a stand on immigration.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, last night was a prime example. I mean, when you can go out and go through, allow 6 people just to go through immigration like that, when you still got tens of thousands of people still waiting to get in the country legally.
Right. Not to mention all the thousands of people who are behind the bars at Chrome, too, by the way, some of whom are being held indefinitely and are there in limbo.
Yes, but
yes.
But where does Miami and the politicians and the people who live in Miami, now where do we go to now to improve things and make things better?
We don't.
We don't?
We don't, because the rest of us don't have any constituency. Nobody cares about anybody else in Miami except those people who have the Ileana Ross Layton and Lincoln Diaz Ballarts and those people are screaming and yelling in Washington. There's no constituency for the rest of South Florida.
God, I would hate to think that...
Well, that's the way it is. He would hate to think, but that's the way it is. 567-0560, pound 560. I shouldn't have said that because now I've spoiled his whole day, his whole life. Okay, go back into La La Land, sir, and pretend that there are people really there going to bat for all the rest of us here in South Florida. See, they've written off South Florida. They've written it all off. They don't really care. That's the federal government. They don't give a crap about us. I mean, they want the votes in federal elections, but other than that, they don't care. That happened way back toward the end of Reagan. In fact, I can remember having a guy, and this was choice. I had 2 guests on one night at W Snooze years and years ago. This was right in the 80, 81 Mariel boatlift time. And basically they said that this is, I mean, they didn't put it in these words, I'm paraphrasing, but this is the dumping ground for Latin America, and that's what they've decided. And they've basically written off South Florida for any other purposes whatsoever, and that's just the way it's going to be. And if you don't like it, too bad. And I'm not paraphrasing that much. I mean, they were pretty blunt about it. And I sat back and lit up a Dutch Masters blunt. That was long before I found Nixon all those great cigars he's got. I lit up a blunt and I went, okay. Here's Homestead. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
Hey, I think we ought to agree with that lady who called in earlier about where she paid all the money and can't get a job.
Mm-hmm.
I think we ought to use this to our advantage.
Yeah.
Is get a bunch of our friends. We go out.
Okay, well, you go right ahead, sir. I don't want any part of it. 567. I mean, talk about responding to aberrant behavior by doing it yourself. No, I don't participate, nor do I encourage, nor I condone. I condemn it. Okay, I condemn it violently, strongly, enthusiastically, heartily, unilaterally, etc., and so on. Just don't do it. If somebody else is out there, crapping in the street, that doesn't mean you should go out there and squat too. Do you follow what I'm saying, sir? Do you get it or not?
No.
I didn't think so. Here's Pinecrest. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, born and raised here, 52 years. So when the tanks in Homestead went down there, said, I'm for it, protect these people. Yesterday, my wife needed chemotherapy. Couldn't get to the hospital, okay? She has malignant cancer. So anybody listening out there, listen to this. Thank you.
Okay. And good luck to you, sir. Is there anything I could say about that?
No.
No. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. But the politicians don't care about this guy or his wife, do they?
No.
Or about anybody else who, old people over there on the beach?
No.
Or anybody who was in the middle of all that traffic that may have been any of these things. They don't care. And none of you assholes in the media, by the way, on any of our channels are talking about these things. Because it's just amazing. It's astonishing. We're talking about 4 million people here in South Florida, and there's only one group of people that's got any constituency, and the rest of us can all go to hell. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Channel 4, 6, 7, and 10. Thank you so very much for caring enough not to send your very best and blow it out your ass while you're at it. Here's Pompano. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I got 2 questions. One about Neptune and Dania. They have cops regulating the traffic in there, but they got problems with the illegal fireworks. I don't see how they can manage that. And the second one is about,
Yeah, okay. Anybody get that?
No.
No. Here. Yeah, what was it, Neptune or Uranus? I think it was
Rectum.
Uranus he was on. Here's Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
I know. How you doing today?
Okay.
I'm going to comment on a law enforcement standpoint of view. With regards to the incident, people need to realize that there were contingencies of officers mobilized to deal with the situation. However,
Yeah.
I don't need to say any more about county government and the individual who's running Miami-Dade County.
Yeah.
The issue would have been addressed, but decisions were made. People need to realize that the officer working the road doesn't make the decision.
Right, well, obviously.
So the issue and the decisions were made at a higher level.
Sure.
The second issue is I think the county doesn't realize that they have set a precedence because of any other ethnic, religious, homophobic, whatever group you
Right.
want to call,
Right.
that decides to go on an expressway and shut a roadway down.
Yeah.
They'll be able to do it. Because if any action is taken against them, now it'll be considered discriminatory, and a hefty lawsuit is probably going to follow.
Absolutely correct, sir.
The third issue is, do you think that any other major metropolitan area, including a county that we both live in, would have tolerated the actions of the individuals that night?
No. Of course not.
So it just upsets me.
No, I understand. I understand that, you got to do your job and you don't make policy.
Well, we have to go by that policy, and we do what we're told.
Okay.
But I feel sorry for all the people that were stuck in that traffic, and I feel really bad for the individual who just called regarding his wife. But those of us who are out here who are not at 16-year-old houses, we're still trying to do a job.
Okay. Hang in there, pal.
Take care, Neil.
Thanks.
Bye.
5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T. It goes back again to the vacuum of leadership. A vacuum of leadership for all the rest of the people. And it's not just a question of Cubans. It's a question of the people, these few thousand people who go out there in the streets and participate in these things and are the ones that make all the noise and all the disruption. The 3,000 or 4,000 or 2,000, however many it is each and every time this stuff goes on, whether it's about the guy with his little damn banana boat a couple of months ago or the fact the Orioles were playing some stupid baseball games or this thing yesterday, whatever it is. So it's not that they're catering to 1.3 million people. What they're catering to is the few thousand people, the listeners, the lackeys of Spanish language radio who go out there and disrupt the whole community. Those are the people that run all of South Florida. 4 million people whose lives and fate and everyday life is determined and quality of that life by a few thousand selfish imbeciles who have no concern for anybody else. Nice going, Mayor Penis and Mayor Carroyo and all you other pandering assholes, you. 3,000 out of 4 million. That's not a very good constituency, if you ask me. And I'm going to tell you, Mayor Penis, by the way, come the 29th of July, you and your cronies in Merritt-Steerheim, you're in for one hell of a big surprise. The chance, you got about as much chance of passing that penny sales tax with this Metro fail and your bus bull crap as you have of walking out in the backyard and finding 75 million guilders from Netherlands just flew in with a bunch of free dope, okay? No chance. None. Thursday, July 29th. We already got it marked on the calendar. We're going to spend the entire goddamn day that day, and I'll make sure that everybody else in the media does the same thing. To get everybody who's registered in Dade County out there to vote a big, fat no on this bullcrap that you're trying to put over on the public again with a fixed election on a Thursday in the middle of July when 90% of the people with a brain are out of town. Why don't you just get a billboard campaign going, hey, we got another fixed election coming up. We got you screwed, because that's what you got in mind. Because you know that if you try to do it like in the middle of, like in November on ordinary election days, there wouldn't be a Chinaman's chance in hell that you get anybody, not even a prayer, when most of the people are here. But let's pull a fast one again. And this guy ought to be impeached, this Mayor Penis. He ought to be impeached. His frickin' little pansy ass ought to be impeached right now. Because he's not the mayor of all the people of Dade County. He's the mayor of a bunch of hysterical, irresponsible people who go to wherever Spanish language radio tells them to do and break the goddamn law. That's who he's the mayor of. And everybody else be damned. And by the way, nice back behind the door deal with Mickey Orison, too. Oh! And your cronies over there at the Herald. Tony Ritter and those assholes. Nice going, Mayor Penis. You phony. His name should be changed from Penis to Pinga. That's what he is. Mayor Pinga. That's what I'm going to start calling him from this day forward. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Just to show you how bad this town is, I go downtown to Miami and pull permits every once in a while, the Metro-Dade building, and you walk in there, and there's not one person that's speaking English.
Okay, thank you. Here's a lady in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just wanted to say that all the people that are calling about the Cubans are very envious because, see, it only took, like you said, 3,000 or 4,000 people, but we do have millions that were available to go if this thing lasted any longer.
What do you mean they were available to go?
Well, it just...
In other words, you're speaking for all the Cubans in South Florida, lady? Is that what you are? You're
That's
the
right.
spokeslady? Lady, let me tell you something. Blow it out your ass. That's right. And I got news for her. I wouldn't let her on one more second because that's exactly the last kind of call that I'm going to put on this show. Some bitch trying to speak for 1.3 million people who not only, hey, they had every opportunity to be out there, but they didn't, and they weren't, and they wouldn't be. Wonderful, lovely people like you. I got news for you. I'm not envious of you, sweetheart, because you're a flaming asshole. You're an imbecile. You need to be on a goddamn banana boat going one way, due south, or east, or wherever, anywhere offshore. Out of here. We have an endless supply of people who will do whatever it takes to, isn't that great? Isn't that fantastic? She's the director of community relations for South Florida.
Oh!
Yeah. Hallelujah. God. There's another lady that probably is taking it
up the butt
too much, affecting her brain.
This is the amazing Gilbert reminding you not to drink and drive this holiday season.
They love my devotion and my eyes so big and brown. They're falling at my feet now. We have to hold them down. I love the sweet sensation of strange hands on my body. It's like a new addiction. I feed on faith at night. Sometimes they take their clothes off and start dancing in the aisle. Well, I know that I should make them stop, but it always makes me smile in my Puerto Rican style. Every day and night, I'm driving the women loca.
All right.
With my hips and sway, driving the women loca. They scream, they cry, they swoon, and it's sweeter than on roca. It's making me so rich, driving the women loca. Let's be my stars on Mocha. I'm buying a house in Boca.
Mocha, by the way, which in Espanol means bugarrón. 131 at 560 WQAM, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line, as if we need to give those numbers out today. Jim Mad Dog Mandit for Hank Goldberg between 2 and 6 this afternoon, who I'm sure will have his own perspicacious observations of the passing scene here in South Florida. As if we haven't all been through this over and over and over again. Here's Kendall. Hello.
How you doing, Neil?
Okay, sir.
The problem with Mayor Limpinas and the rest of these...
Mayor Pinga, yes?
Yep, and the rest of these Cuban politicians is they don't understand what democracy is all about. Democracy is doing what's best for the majority while protecting the rights of the minority.
Right, very well put, yes.
Not doing what's best for the minority while stepping on the rights of the majority.
Right.
And it's pretty ironic that they scream and shout about Castro and the Comunistas, but they're becoming the same thing. And it's getting ridiculous, and I just hope that as voters we can do something about it.
Well, it starts July 29th, don't forget.
Yes, sir.
Just say no to Mayor Pinga.
Got it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
132 at 560 WQ. And, of course, I'm sure that they'll be trying to make political hay out of what's happened these last couple of days come that election. Oh, look, here's the big hero. Here's the leader of Dade County, and he would never lead you astray. And be sure and, vote yes and support Mayor Pinga because this thing is going to be great, this Metro Rail train to nowhere that's already $1 billion boondoggle and everybody laughs at all over the world. And we'll see if we got, a few people that still have some balls in Dade County and a brain larger than a goddamn ball bearing. Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think it's so stupid what these Cubans are doing. I mean, they think they own the whole world here doing this thing. I had to take a relative to the hospital, okay, at that time. Guess what? I couldn't make it to the hospital. I don't think that was funny.
Yeah.
I think that's the most ridiculous thing in the world, okay? And a few years back, I needed some help from the government, okay? I couldn't get help from the government. But now they come from Cuba, okay, and they get all the help in the world and everything in the world, and then they come here and they sit on their ass for 9 months without doing anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you think that's right? I think that's so so unfair to us.
Esa es la cingada manera cubana.
That sure is, man. I think, you know what? Let me just say one thing. Te mamame el culo todos.
Okay. 567. I don't know. You're the interpreter. You didn't make any kind of a... Okay.
Okay.
George said, okay. 567. Of course, no matter what you would have said, he would have said, okay. That's beside the point. And, of course, I know no big at Bonnie. I know nothing. You don't have to agree so fast. Here's Hialeah. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
When Cuba becomes free, I'm the one who's going to go, the first one who go back.
Yeah.
I'm the first one who's going to go back.
I'll pack you maybe a note, pal.
So I don't have to put up with assholes like you.
Okay, well, thanks for listening, though, to the Neil Rogers Show on 560 WQM, because we know you've only got another 150 choices on your AM and FM dial. But thank you so much for listening to this show. And by the way, call the cops, because if there is somebody there holding a gun to your head forcing you to listen to 560, we want to know who exactly it is. Because maybe we can boost our ratings by doing that all over town. 560. Oh, yeah. I am just wounded to the quick, pal. I'm just so wounded I don't know whether to scream or eat a banana. Here's a call from U of M. Yes, sir. How's it going? Can barely hear this guy. Yes, sir. Oh, like you said, it was a call from UM. There you go. What do you expect? And why are we getting calls from UM? Do we ever get calls from UM?
No.
You know, just like that poor young lady that spent, what did she say, $400,000, $600,000 to try to get an education. Her family wasted $1 million to try to get her education of UM, and now she's sitting on a street corner stuffing envelopes. Go to a real school, pal, okay? Go to like Miami-Dade or something like that, or Nova or anything. Here's a mobile in Fort Myers. Hello. Mobile in Fort Myers, going once, on our dime, 12 minutes and 18 seconds, they couldn't handle it. Okay. Probably got chopped off. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Mobile in Fort Lauderdale, hello.
Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Yes, sir.
I was in Cuba about 2 years ago.
You were what?
I was in Cuba 2 years
Is that where they put the clothespin on your nose?
That's why I don't call.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not making fun of the way you speak, but it's so hard to understand
Well,
you.
I have a defect.
You have a what?
A defect.
Okay.
All right, but I want to make a comment.
Go ahead. Just a little louder.
I was in Cuba 2 years ago, and I have compassion for those people who try to get into this country.
Uh-huh.
But if you think this thing through, this is the legacy of Mark Canosa and his Cuban American Fund, or whatever they want to call it.
Foundation, yes.
We should be having relations with the country
Mm-hmm.
years ago, and you wouldn't have these people starving to death and seeking freedom in this country.
That is correct.
That's my observation.
Okay, thank you, sir. 567. I shouldn't have made fun of the way. It just sounded like, it's just one of those things. But at least he was up front about it. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Of course, if there was a God, there wouldn't be people with it. But, a lot of things. Tumors on the knee, all these other things that are going on. And God just keeps missing and missing and missing. Here's Coral Springs. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
When I turned on the radio yesterday and again today, I'm just thinking to myself, basically, you could have stayed home and played the best of Neil, because this is not the first time, sadly enough.
No, it's
goddamn
an
now.
instant replay. It happens over and over. It's like I said yesterday, a neurotic repetition. They keep making the same stupid, idiotic mistakes over and over again.
All these things keep
Uh-huh.
playing over and over. You could have stayed home, played the best of Neil, and nobody would know the difference, because
All of
the
these
same
things.
goddamn thing has happened before, and
Right.
it's probably going to happen again.
Sure.
And that's the saddest part.
Well, they're promising Saturday they're going to be out there stirring up a bunch of crap again.
By the way, I'm an American born in Cuba, but I think it's despicable, cutting off traffic and everything else. It's not the proper thing to do.
Okay.
Okay?
Thanks,
Thank you.
amigo. See ya. 567-0560. It's not a tough one. It's not too tough to figure out. You don't go out there and block off the roads. You don't go out there and jeopardize public safety. You don't disrupt other people's lives because you got an axe to grind, okay? And it was so right on target what so many people said. When you start caving in and you keep caving in every time over, okay, whatever you say, we're just like, we're helpless. We won't. Where do they ever draw the line? At what point do you draw the line? and say, hey, we're the goddamn government. This is a country of laws. We're going to enforce the laws. If you want to change the laws, go to your Ileana, Rosanna, Dana, and we'll work on changing the laws and discuss it. But stop trying to stick it up everybody else's butt and destroy their lives because you're all bent out of shape because you're one-dimensional. Get the blinders off. There's a whole big world out there. I know it comes as a great shock to you, but there's a big, big, wide, real world out there. And unfortunately, we're not in it. Here's Miami. Hello. Miami. And have a nice day. Okay, that was good. I got to do the break anyway. That was probably an act of...
Oh, God!
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. 21 before 2 at QAM. All right.
Yeah.
Tell me that you love my eyes.
Yes.
But I know that you keep on checking out my thighs. Don't blame you 'cause I'm very cute.
Up the butt.
Out my breath, they're poking out my lips at you. You come on to me and whisper things in my ear, and it sounds so odd.
Up the butt.
But if you wanna date me, slow.
Yes.
There's things about me I don't think you know.
All right.
I'm underage, 17. You should be scared of me. 'Cause you could go to jail if you sleep with me. If I scream, you end up praising me. She looks 25, but she's just a teen. Perfect teen, I bet my lips are sweet. Daddy called the cops last night. I got the perfect to me because I've had surgery. None of my guts which my knees. My butt just hangs right out of my shore.
All right.
She's underage. She'll take. She's just 25. You should be scared of her. Scared of me? The Rolling Stones bring me to the dynamite. What a sight. She's looking mighty fine. She looks 25, but she's just a teen.
145 at 560 WQM. Here's a fax from Javier, a young Cuban who says the so-called leader of the Democracia movement is that jackass Ramon Saul Sanchez, who is nothing but a media whore and one of the instigators of the civil disobedience. He says basically he ought to take it
up the butt,
is what he says. Thank you, Javier. Or he says he does take it
up the butt.
Something like that. Anyway, it's 1:45. We got Jim Mad Dog Mandage for Hank at 2 o'clock. It's a great day in a big city, and maybe someday we'll come down to earth. You think so?
No.
Someday soon, like someday in the next 400 or 500 years. Because 6,000 years from now, who's going to remember all this crap? Just keep that in mind. Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil God.
Speaking.
Neil, I'm sick and tired of all these Cubans washing up on the goddamn shores. What's next? They're going to get a goddamn lunch truck and go sell food out there?
Oh, didn't you see it? Yeah, they had medianoches and whatever else they were selling.
Jeez, I mean,
I think horse meat.
I thought they had some Ravens on too when they were, when they were on the boat.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. All right. 5670560. In fact, the good news is, I mean, in every dark cloud there's a little silver lining. The good news is that they're going to move these 6 Cubans that washed up on shore into the condo that OJ was going to buy in Cocoa Plum. There you go. So at least we're keeping his ass out of here. Here's the mobile in Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is first time caller, long time listener. My question is about the Cubans that's blocking off all the highways.
Yes.
We have none of us Americans going over there in Castro's Cuba blocking off his highways because if we did, he knew what he would do for us.
Yeah, he'd say thanks for the memories and he'd roll them right out.
Yeah, why don't they go home and block off Castro's Cuba and see what happens?
Okay, let's give it a shot.
Hey.
And have a great day. Eh?
Up the butt.
5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Yeah, finally you're jealous of the Cubans, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, you're really jealous of them, aren't you?
No. Are you?
No, I applaud them. They stand up for their rights.
Yeah.
They mobilize.
They have a right to block off traffic? They have a right to block off traffic?
They don't have a right,
where
but they
does it say that? Where does it say? Where does it say that's one of their rights, asshole? Where does it say an asshole like you's got a right to own a phone? Does it say that anywhere in the Constitution? No. Go confiscate his phone, okay? Because he's an asshole. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Yeah, I'm jealous. Here's a mobile in Cutler Ridge. Hello.
Hey, Neil?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, two things. One, I agree with you that what the Cubans did was wrong, and I'm a Julio that's been here since I was 3 years old. I'm 43, so I'm as American as you can get.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something that's interesting here, and you got to think about this.
Okay.
I got to admire him for one thing. At least, like the guy in Hollywood, you didn't agree with. They stand up. My wife made this comment because I'm married to an American. If the Americans would do the same thing, you wouldn't have this BS that's going on in the schools. You wouldn't have this BS that's going on in our government and all the corruption. I'm not talking about going out and blocking the roads because that's wrong, but at least standing up for your rights. And it seems that a lot of Americans don't do that.
But the Americans don't care about education, don't you understand? If the Americans cared about education, we'd have better schools. It's not a priority. Americans don't give a crap about that. Because if they did, they'd be screaming bloody murder and something would happen. They don't care about that.
Yeah, and it's going to hurt us in the end.
Well, it already is, but you get, you reap what you sow, or however the old crap goes.
Yep. Okay. Well, have a good day. Love your show.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if people make enough noise, the old saying about the squeaky wheel gets the something. What does it go?
Up the butt.
Yeah, that's right. But they're not squeaking it. I mean, if they threaten to take away Social Security now, right tomorrow, then you'd hear some screaming and yelling. If they threaten to close down the early bird dinners all over town, well, you hear screaming and yelling. But people are screaming about the wrong crap. That's the problem. But this guy, I mean, his intentions are good, but you want to change human nature, or at least of the American people. They're just indifferent. They don't give a crap. They're just in la-la land. Like Howard Beale said, they got their steel-belted radios and their big-screen color TV, and that's all. Leave them alone and cut the crap. Isn't that what he said?
Uh-huh.